The story begins on planet Vegeta. Baby born much earlier because the energy radiating from his body would cause harm to his mother. He would happen to be in an incubation capsule. Something that shocked all the doctors was that this child's power was null. Something about the baby's hair would change to a purple color, which would destroy everything. What's supposed to be going on? His power's practically nil, but even though he doesn't release any power, he's wreaking havoc. We should definitely inform the King of Vegeta about this. It might be about this legendary Super Saiyan. Haha, don't say stupid things. The legendary Super Saiyan was so great he could destroy a planet, while his singular pressure was capable of making all the inhabitants fall to their knees. Of course I've heard those legends. Although at the end of the day, we might as well call them fairy tales. It doesn't matter, we have to report it. The doctors would report everything to King Vegeta. When he arrived to the incubation room, it would not take importance. The power of the baby was null. Unlike the power of Broly, a small baby that his power was on that occasion capable of surpassing the elite class. This is unforgivable. The only one that should be the legendary Super Saiyan is my son. I want that baby exterminated. But, my king, he may be the legendary Super Saiyan. You wouldn't want something better for him to be on our side? Because, with your help, our power will be increased in power. No. I've given the order to execute that baby. I can't allow a baby to be more powerful than me, much less our legendary Super Saiyan. Bardock, Kakarot's father, arrived from the missions, realizing Kakarot had been sent home in an incubator.
I don't know if you would arrive today. What do you think it would be for Kakarot? He was born earlier than planned, and since his energy hurts me, it was very different energy than that of Raditz, who was born with it, but the radar didn't detect his power. Bardock, with the help of his tracker, would try to measure Kakarot's power being null. Gine, we're a low-class warrior. It's normal that her son has zero power, since apparently he won't be a warrior like me. That doesn't matter, Bardock. Look! His hair is identical to yours. I already want to see how he grows and looks more and more like you.
Since I've arrived at my mission, I feel very bad, but he'd be interrupted by the incredible power, which despite the tracker not detecting any energy, a pressure would make them kneel. No matter the rank, even since the elite soldiers were around that place would fall to their knees. This incredible pressure would happen around 4 kilometers. What's going on? I haven't felt this pressure in my life. New enemy? Ugh, my body hurts. I can even feel my bones. Bardock would look up and see nothing, noticing Kakarot's hair would change to purple, while every incubator was cracking because of the power he was releasing. Bardock was surprised by the energy his son gave off. Kakarot, you're a boy, but please calm down. If you continue to release this pressure, you'll end our lives. A much higher pressure was able to fall on the planet Vegeta and would fade away after 5 seconds, but in those 5 seconds, all the inhabitants of the planet felt like death was coming. Kakarot's hair would return to normal, and the pressure would stop. Bardock, in a little pain, would stand, and the inhabitants who were not warrior class would be out of combat. Wow, I can't believe my son can release that pressure. Why is he able to keep this power at 0, though? It's a new power that even for our trackers is untraceable? I don't understand what's happening. On the planet far away from the Universe 7, the energy of a baby Kakarot was perceived by Whis. The energy of the god of destruction Beerus, and his energy was released, not being able to be felt by any mortal who could understand the divine energy. Only beings understanding this energy could feel the power of Kakarot being released. Well, this event is 1 in a million, a Saiyan born with divine energy. Since it is the 18 universes who created the 3 warriors able to be born with divine energy, without saying the feats have been able to be achieved, this Saiyan baby has that of a 4th warrior. Whis would start walking over the planet of God Beerus, without warning, realizing that God was resting on the planet of Vegeta with the Saiyans. Arriving a few minutes, specifically at Kakarot's house, the power of the god of destruction was seen. Bardock would notice the pressure of Whis, because he would help Gine lie down in the room to rest, recovering from the pressure that Kakarot had released. I feel proud, but at the same time confused. I don't understand Kakarot being born with that power. He was the savior of the entire race, his power would be on another level. Bardock, returning to the incubator, would observe Whis, who was watching Kakarot. I don't know who the hell you are, but you better stay away from my son's incubator if you don't want to get hurt. Whis, without paying the slightest attention, would continue to observe Kakarot. Bardock, angry, this time would throw caution to the wind and against Whis. But the outcome was obvious, since Whis, without taking his eyes off Kakarot, would stop Bardock's blow with his fingers because he would return to observe. I have no plans to do anything with this baby. I just want to observe him and understand how he could be born with the energy beyond the gods of destruction. Bardock would be surprised, not by the fact that Whis stopped his blow, but by what he said. What'd you say? What do you mean by the energy of the god of destruction?
I introduce myself. I'm Whis, the angel of the god Beerus. I'm sure you've seen us around planet Vegeta on multiple occasions, since we do come recurrently.
Bardock would remember Beerus giving him reverence each time the purple-skinned guy would appear in front of him on the planet, as he was able to humiliate King Vegeta completely. But if you're the warriors who are capable of bending Frieza...
The power of Frieza is a child. It's trying to be compared to an adult to a baby. Although Frieza does have great power, it doesn't compare with a baby who already has divine energy. The difference in their powers is incomparable.
And does that mean Kakarot's now already more powerful than Frieza?
Correct, but in the same way, although his power is much more powerful than that of Frieza's, Frieza is able to annihilate him with some difficulty. He has experience on the battlefield. Kakarot can't protect himself.
Sure, I understand. I apologize for hitting you. I thought you wanted to do something bad to my son. I plan to send him to planet Earth since that Frieza wants to destroy our planet.
It surprises me how your senses are sharper than any other Saiyans. I, being a divine being, affirm that you, to Frieza, would destroy this planet in the next 2 days. What you will do with your wife and son will come with me. I can make sure that they will be more powerful, and I'm the only one in the universe for Kakarot to be able to master that energy.
I appreciate it, and of course, we'll be eternally grateful.
Don't worry, I'm sure Kakarot will be a great opponent for Mr. Beerus, so much so that I'm sure he will even be able to defeat him.
Whis with his staff would make him, Gine, get a full recovery, and he was in shock.
Bardock, what's going on? Who is he?
Gine, I don't want you to be scared. We'll leave with him. Apparently Frieza's planning to destroy our planet, and Kakarot's been able to be born with the energy of the gods of destruction. He's going to be our teacher of our son.
What? I don't understand all this. I hadn't the slightest idea that the gods, much less Kakarot, would be born with the energy beyond the gods. For that reason, Kakarot's power is to destroy everything inside her, since a mortal is not carrying this capable of being a powerful warrior like Kakarot is. I appreciate you. At this moment, we're gonna leave with you.
King Vegeta's palace would be immediately sending an order to eradicate the Saiyan Broly, because the incredible pressure would be felt all over the planet Vegeta, making him bend. I can't allow a simple baby to do more powerful than me. I can't allow this. I want them to end his life. Only my dear Vegeta could be the legendary Super Saiyan. I won't allow anyone to take his place. Multiple warriors after the Paragus would be on Broly, but Paragus, with the help of his ship, would be able to leave the planet with the intention of saving his son. You will be able to throw us as if you're simple garbage, and I swear I won't forget about that damn King Vegeta. I want your head on my throne. On the planet Beerus, everyone arrived, and on this occasion, Whis, with his power, was able to create a resistant incubator, because the incubator wasn't able to contain the energy of the God of Destruction, and thanks to this, it didn't matter if Kakarot released his power to the Ultra Ego. He couldn't crack it, much less wreak havoc all over the place. In that case, Kakarot finishes growing for about 2 months, and I'll take care of his training. Make sure to increase his power, because you, as Kakarot's father, must possess great power. I appreciate that, and of course I'll do my best. I have to become more powerful, and I know I can do it. In that case, it'd be better to start right now, since we will have the power beyond the god, or what I could try, since it is that the Saiyans know no limits. I want to check that. For me, it'd be a pleasure to be your experiment. I am able to become more powerful and protect my family, so whatever you want. Whis, with his staff, would drop a slight pressure, being similar to Frieza's max power. Bardock would fall to the ground on his knees, but despite this, he would resist. Kakarot's incredible pressure was able to crush him completely. If I compare this pressure to Kakarot's, it's nothing. I have to be able to stay normal under this pressure. Bardock, with his will and every last drop of his energy could stand, his legs were shaking. Whis would stop releasing all the pressure, and Bardock would fall to the ground, while a little blood was coming out of his mouth. Don't worry, that pressure I am able to exert with my staff is even able to heal each of your bones. At the end of it, you should not be afraid of dying, but that you would be in your training, you will feel like your body is destroyed. Doesn't interest me. I'm sure my body's capable of withstanding this and much more, since even you have said we Saiyans don't have limits. Something surprising felt over the planet. A great power would be able to be felt, and even an incubator that Whis had created started to crack. Kakarot would open his eyes a little, and because of this, a bigger power would be released over the planet of Beerus, as his incubator would be destroyed. This is amazing! He keeps unleashing all that power, he could interrupt Mr. Beerus' sleep, and I'm sure that would piss him off enough to even exterminate everyone present. Whis, with the help of his staff, would create a powerful barrier, which would contain the power of the god 40% of his power. The power of Kakarot was great, and he hadn't been able to cause any scratches to said barrier. I am surprised at the power your son's showing. I'm sure that he'd be able to surpass 3 subjects born beyond the power of the gods. What are the other warriors like Kakarot? Or are they able to help him? The only thing I can tell you is that the feats they have achieved are feats that won't be broken unless the power of Kakarot surpasses them. Whis would watch as Kakarot would calm down while the barrier would act as a new incubator. Bardock would continue with training under the teachings of Whis, and being a powerful angel would require power to turn Bardock to a powerful warrior. It had been 4 years since they got on planet Beerus. Bardock had achieved Super Saiyan Phase 3, beginning to master the essence of the gods. I appreciate it, Whis. If it hadn't been for you, I'd be able to get this power. I'm indebted to you. Don't worry. To be honest, after the last few years have been entertaining for me, since, as you can tell, Mr. Beerus has taken long naps because I often tend to be bored. Although, Whis, I want to check the power of Kakarot. He's 4 years old and he still hasn't required the age for training, but 1 more year and he'll start with your training. I agree, Bardock. 1 more year before Kakarot will join our training. Instantly, the staff of Whis would glow, hinting that something would happen to the Emperor of Evil, Frieza. Bardock was about 2 years, had asked him in favor to let him know if Frieza was able to mess with his son Raditz. Bardock, Frieza was able to finish the last warriors of the Saiyan race. Since it's been ambushed by Frieza's planet, 3 Saiyans, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, are in terrible conditions. Bardock, you gotta help him! Even though we hadn't contacted Raditz, it's still our son, and you currently have the power to defeat Frieza. Whis, I'm asking you, please, take me to that place. I want to end his life. I'll never forgive him for destroying our planet. Don't worry, Bardock. This will be interesting. Whis and Bardock went to Frieza's planet. When they got there, they realized this place was a battlefield. Saiyans tried to do everything, but it was impossible for them to do anything against Frieza's special forces. So they would see 3 Saiyans on the verge of death, while Frieza smiled like a maniac. Ho! I have eliminated all the monkeys. Although they served me more alive, I'm afraid that they would turn against me. My Lord Frieza, do you want me to finish them once and for all? Of course not, soldier. Let them suffer. I want them to know the one who destroyed Vegeta. Since it was not a meteorite, I myself ended the planet that existed, you damn monkeys. No, damn. I always thought that you wouldn't say goodbye to my parents. I knew I had a younger brother. Damn it! That look on your face. It would be nothing to do with anything since they don't have the power to support us. At the moment, an amazing power would be able to make Frieza tremble. The trackers exploded, and the power exceeded that of 30,000 power units. In the shadows, it could be observed Bardock approaching the warriors. At this moment, I'm planning to finish you, Frieza. You better get ready. I have the power to defeat you. I must admit you have incredible power. Even exceed 30,000 units. You won't be able to do anything against me since I in my second form could exceed 1,000,000 power. Soldiers, finish him. The elite special forces of Frieza rushed Bardock. Without any effort, he was able to finish these warriors, with only Frieza watching him. So, as I said, transform. I don't want you to access your second form. I won't let you release your power again. If you give me battle, access your max power, because I am the one that you've been so afraid of. Bardock and Frieza were able to fight. Whis with his staff would heal into the Saiyans, who were surprised to realize Bardock with his power could finish off Frieza's elite forces. What? Does my father have that power? That's crazy! I agree with you, Raditz. Bardock was always considered a low-class soldier. I don't even know how he could get such power. Nappa observed everything while it happened, and at the moment, chill would run through his body. Frieza on this occasion began to access his last transformation. With things trembling, a great light, Frieza would be observed in his last form.
I hope you're ready to die, monkey. You screwed up my show. I want these good-for-nothing monkeys to see that you will entertain me a little.
I'm the one who will agonize someone else. I'll humiliate you in the worst way. Frieza, irritated by the arrogance of the Saiyan, with great speed headed towards him. Bardock, despite seeing every one of his movements, would not move from the place, so an incredible blow hit Bardock's entire face, generating great destruction. The dust and smoke dissipated, and it would be seen how Frieza's fist wouldn't be able to move Bardock. What happened? Is that power of the so-called Emperor of Evils this that you're displaying? Let me show you some real power. Frieza would instantly make a chill run through his body, but before he could react, Bardock's fist embedded in his stomach, destroying everything around him because the power of that fist, Frieza was sent to the dust. Would try to stand up, but that blow of damage was caused that was incomparable. The Emperor of Evil would spit large amounts of blood. I can't believe what I'm seeing. If I'm not able to see this with my own eyes, I wouldn't assimilate it. We joined the forces that couldn't do anything against Frieza Elite. Father, you always had that power? I really can't be considered low class since you're above the elite soldiers. What's wrong, Frieza? I tried to restrain myself so I could see the power of the Super Saiyan that you were afraid of. Bardock, clenching his fist, would raise his power in a great way. The planet shook, and all of Bardock's hair would turn golden color, making everyone present surprised by the incredible power that was released. This is the legendary Super Saiyan that you are afraid of. Right now, I'll show you the power of the legend that you were afraid of. Bardock, with a quick movement, would make his fist into Frieza's chest. Holding his heart, Frieza would spit blood and would only see the Saiyan's gaze.
Please spare my life. I promise I'll leave and never see me again.
Bardock would take his hand out of his chest while Frieza would fall to the ground bleeding out. Frieza would call for help while Bardock would turn. I want you to give me a show. I want to see how you hold on to life. Frieza would remember those same words he said to the three Saiyans. Raditz had too many questions because he thought his father had died.
Father, how can you have all this power? I never thought you would have this hidden power. Train us, please. I want to become more powerful.
No, I can't train you until you're able to cleanse and purify that evil that exists in your hearts. So long as there's evil, I don't want anything to do with it. You must improve and not stay conquering planets. Bardock, without waiting for his answer, would leave to the planet of Whis and Beerus, in which Bardock would continue his training, accessing new levels.
Wow, Bardock, I'm surprised in the last year you could get to Super Saiyan 4. Although you didn't master the divine energy, this mortal power is incredible. I would dare to tell him that the max power you could get would be able to make Lord Beerus use 11% of his.
Wow, definitely the power of Beerus is on another level. I know one day I'll be able to get closer to that power. But Whis, it's time to start training Kakarot, since he possesses the proper understanding.
It's what I've been longing for, so we'll start this instant.
Gine would take Kakarot along with Bardock and Whis.
My little one, from today you will start with your training, and together with your father and this angel, I hope that you can do the best yourself so that you can become more powerful. Of course, Mother. I've always longed to train with Dad and Whis. Together, I'm going to be a powerful Saiyan.
In that case, we'll start with understanding the divine energy. Since it's a vein that will start with mortal energy, his mortal energy will be almost nil. Goku, despite being a child, would begin to meditate and feel his energy veins with his colossal power. The divine energy was hundreds of times higher than the mortal one, and the balance of the mortal energy and divine energy would destroy it completely. I'm surprised by his ability to meditate. Being only 5 years old, he's able to understand that I wanted to teach him. He will be a great warrior. I don't know why, but my body's burning with enthusiasm. I want to see his limit. Although I doubt I have a limit, because an ordinary Saiyan has none, I don't want to imagine the power Kakarot's able to reach. With his level of learning, I'm sure that in a year he'll be able to surpass his power in a much shorter time. Kakarot, despite being a child, would continue meditating for 3 weeks, and his energy veins as well as the flow of the Ultra Ego would combine with his body. Kakarot would open his eyes and an amazing pressure would release on the planet, while Kakarot's hair and eyes would turn red. Wow, what is that transformation? I'm not able to feel the power in the slightest. This means Kakarot's able to completely have the essence of a god.
Wow, I'm surprised you could master the essence of a god in less than a month, although it was to be expected since you are born with that power. I feel my body's extremely light. Whis, Dad, I never knew this training in the battlefield. I've always wanted to train. Let me have a friendly battle with you, Dad. No, definitely not. You've been training for 1 month. If you face your dad, who's been training for 5 years, it'd be madness. In fact, I don't see it as a bad idea. Saiyans become more powerful thanks to battles, and facing your father, I know you won't attack him with the intention of ending his life. It's perfect training.
If he's saying that, of course we'll train my son.
Heh, thanks, Dad. I promise I'll try my best and not let you down.
Don't worry. Since the day of your birth, I'm completely proud of you. Don't worry. Show me everything you got. Whis would create a barrier around the Beerus castle, and the fight wouldn't be able to wake him up. So the warriors started walking. I'll only use my base state. I doubt Kakarot's power's risen in a great way that short. Kakarot, without warning, would appear a few centimeters from his father's face, trying to connect a blow. Bardock would dodge this with enormous difficulty because Kakarot's speed was amazing. Bardock would try to take distance, but Kakarot already was on the side of Bardock. Because of this, both warriors exchanged hundreds of blows all over the place. But Bardock was beginning to be overcome by Kakarot's power.
Father, you better use more power, because if you only fight at your base state, this will be boring.
Well, if you want me to use more power, I hope you don't regret it. I plan on not holding back. This is the power of the Super Saiyan. Bardock would access Super Saiyan, pouncing against Kakarot. Kakarot, moving his neck to the side, could dodge his father's blow, connecting an incredible knee on his stomach, and due to the speed of Bardock approaching, vomited too much blood over the battlefield. Everyone was surprised.
Wow, Kakarot's training is amazing. He's been able to push Bardock in check. I don't just imagine that he trained 5 years. The energies are incomparable.
That hurt! But what can you do now?
Bardock, being a few centimeters away, would throw thousands of blows. Kakarot would see these movements, noticed by Bardock with a big smile would release more power, making the planet of Beerus shake, since Bardock was expelling great power. The incredible power of Bardock was able to shake the planet of Beerus. The barrier that Whis placed, Beerus wasn't able to feel the energy of the planet. Warriors were out of danger, Bardock would release his power, and his hair would grow. Instantly, the great light, Bardock's new appearance would be seen. This time, Bardock was able to access Super Saiyan 3, leaving Kakarot surprised. Wow, your power's amazing! I doubt that you'll be able to face me, Father. Although you and your master Whis didn't allow me to train, I was able to analyze his combat style, and I'm able to dodge every one of your father's blows.
This is an amazing thing, Kakarot. You'll never be able to beat me if you've only been able to study my combat style, because on the battlefield, even a millisecond of reaction could save your life. And I mean this. Bardock would flash, being able to appear centimeters from Kakarot. That moment he was able to speak, he was surprised to realize there was no one in that place. Kakarot would put his hand on his father's back. Even though it looks stupid, I've been able to analyze your combat style with 99% credibility. You can't catch me off guard. Bardock would be irritated, rushing Kakarot, and both would exchange thousands of blows. Those that Kakarot was able to dodge, he could receive them with incredible defense, not letting him give him damage, so Kakarot would expel a little of his power. He was able to overshadow Bardock's aura completely, and even though Bardock's power was incredible, it didn't compare to that of a god. The great pressure was able to make him fall to the ground as if the gravity was falling on his body. What's this? I can't even move in the slightest. My body weighs so much. Is this the power of a god? The power in which my son's been able to be born, I can't stay behind him. Bardock, in spite of the pressure, would stand, spitting out blood. You've been able to study me completely, my fighting style and skills. But what you'll never be able to study is the resistance of the Saiyan body. Bardock would clench his fists with great power while his whole body would be filled with fur, and the power would skyrocket. Wow, this is amazing! I never thought Kakarot was able to force Bardock to use Super Saiyan 4. It's the maximum power of Bardock. It amazes me Kakarot as a child was able to meditate and master the energy that lies inside. A huge explosion from Bardock from Super Saiyan 4 would be seen. Wow, that's amazing! I thought you'd only be able to do the Ozaru-style transformation. You are my father! You should have this transformation. What'd you say? You mean to have the transformation like this? You couldn't get this transformation without the other variants.
Of course you can, Father. I don't know if mine or the other transformation, but it is similar to me, so look at the power I was able to get.
Kakarot would surround himself with a red aura, and everything would tremble in a brutal way that Bardock with his fur was able to turn over Kakarot's body. After a few minutes, it was possible to observe this new appearance, and his fur was pink, because the energy of the Ultra Ego was combined with that state. Kakarot, in that transformation, possessed the energy of a god of destruction.
How was he able to do that? He was able to combine the transformation of Super Saiyan 4 that he was born with. But how was he able to do that? Whis, I don't understand. What's Kakarot good or bad? Since being a child, his whole body could explode from the excess energy, or am I wrong?
Of course you're wrong, Gine, because what Kakarot just achieved means his power can go beyond a mere mortal. And because of that, he's been able to adopt a new transformation that his body dominates.
Are you trying to tell me Kakarot's power can adapt the new transformation since it needed to evolve?
That is correct, but I'm surprised that he could only have that being only 5 years old. The power that Kakarot has awakened is unparalleled. Apparently that state Kakarot possesses is more powerful than mine. I don't have plans to give up. I'll use all my power.
Father, I'm ready. Attack me. Use your power, because not having this transformation, I can't contain myself.
You better not hold back. I'm sure that I can cause great harm, so you better be prepared, Kakarot. Kakarot's arm was touching Bardock's chest, which he wasn't able to see because Kakarot moved where he was. Damn, what kind of speed is that? If it had been because he touched my chest, I wouldn't have realized I reached as far as me. Kakarot would take a little distance while raising his power to the limit his body could withstand without compromising a speed loss.
Heh, this will be interesting. I already want to see with my master's training. I want to see to face Mr. Beerus.
Kakarot would stretch out one of his hands, stopping Bardock's blow. Bardock was throwing hundreds of blows, spheres of energy, kicks, but nothing was effective. Because Kakarot's power surpassed him abysmally. While Kakarot could see his father's blows, unlike Bardock, he couldn't see Kakarot was able to dodge his blows, and Bardock would recoil. Hell, I believe all the power's been able to increase with that transformation. I have to be able to do something. Bardock sent flying towards Kakarot. Kakarot, with more overwhelming speed, would connect slightly a blow to his neck. But even though he restrained himself, it sent him flying to the planet, destroying everything. While Bardock would lose status as Super Saiyan 4, injured, expelling blood.
Hell no, I haven't been able to contain myself. I'm sorry, Father. I promised you'd try to contain as much as I could, but it turned out to be impossible.
Don't worry, son. I confess that the power you possess is amazing. But I never thought my son would have so much. Bardock would be knocked out, but with the help of Whis, he put him in a recovery pod.
Whis, I noticed that you were able to heal my father with the help of your staff. Why don't you heal him with your staff this time?
Oh, I can tell you are very observant. In this capsule, you'll be able to inject a little divine energy, and due to the wounds your father has, this divine water will be able to penetrate his being.
Oh, okay. That means that he's able to recover and able to assimilate the divine energy.
You are very intelligent. But despite your young age, I can see that you, like Kakarot, are good at training and guidance, will be able to overcome Mr. Beerus.
Heh, I appreciate it. I'm sure I can excel all your expectations. I won't let anyone be more powerful than me. I'll make sure of it.
I don't doubt that, since you being here are the two most powerful energies of this vast universe. That's right, in this universe, millions of years ago, they were afraid of the Saiyan gods because the power seemed to have no limits. Because of this, their divine energy was sealed. All the Saiyans remained mortals with great powers, but Kakarot, being a baby, had been born to the power that belonged to those Saiyan gods. Many of them were born with Ultra Ego or Instinct.
Whis, when can we start training? I want to be more powerful, and I know I could do it.
You train with patience first, because if you continue with that instinct, we'll start training when you're 7. Kakarot would keep silent in his base state. On Earth, having not arrived Kakarot, Piccolo Daikmaku would arrive as the new ruler, wiping out the entire human race almost completely until 3 ships arrived. Well, so this is Earth. We must cleanse the evil from our hearts. I, the Prince of the Saiyans, know because thanks to becoming more powerful, we'll be on par with Bardock. I agree with you, Prince Vegeta. Well, I promise I'll cleanse my heart of evil that lies in, because I want to become more powerful.
but I keep thinking that my father's able to survive the explosion of Vegeta. This is amazing.
But the trio of warriors would be interrupted by the Emperor of the planet Earth. Now, I don't know who the hell you guys are, but you better do as I command, otherwise I'll finish you off in one fell swoop. Huh, how pathetic. You being of another race superior to Earthlings doesn't mean you're superior to us. At this moment, we're gonna end you so that planet Earth continues to thrive. Piccolo wasn't able to say anything. Vegeta's fist would pierce him, causing blood to spread over the place. Ha! I thought you were more powerful of a warrior. You're just a worm. Vegeta would open his hand, making Piccolo explode into hundreds of pieces, and the planet Earth was starting to rebuild everything that Piccolo destroyed. On the planet of Beerus, Kakarot would be training with Whis, while Bardock was meditating in order to control the divine energy. I must control the divine energy. In this method, I can become more powerful. Kakarot, despite possessing the power of the Ultra Ego to travel through his body, he didn't have enough power against Whis. Throughout the multiverse, certain warriors were watching the advance of Kakarot. The power of that child's incredible. He's able to compare himself to the Supreme God at his max power. Currently, only Beerus, the former leader of the Supreme Gods, will be able to keep him aside, as his power grows measurably.
I agree with you, although we must take account that he's a child being born with the power of a god, which is something incredible that has happened in the kingdom of Zeno-sama, since this multiverse doesn't have a required level.
A guy with horns on a throne said nothing. Going back to Kakarot's training, one, despite using all the techniques, wasn't able to give a blow to Whis. Enough! Kakarot, you will train in an ultimate dimension on the sacred staff. You'll merge completely with the Ultra Ego, and when you're able to use your power, you'll grow incredibly.
In that case, I'm leaving for that dimension, Whis. Father, when I return, I want to have a confrontation again, as I feel your power's increased greatly.
When you come back, I'll master the essence of a god, and this time I'll be able to measure myself to you.
Please, Kakarot, just take care of yourself. Of course, Mom. Don't worry. We'll do all this with something, since it will be able to give us the best battle for the life of Mr. Beerus.
I'm sure Mr. Beerus will get a surprise, but Kakarot, it's time. This dimension will most likely be that his body will completely develop, and since an adult body is capable of storing more energy, good luck.
Heh, I understand. Don't worry. I'm ready for anything.
Kakarot would enter, in which, when he entered, he felt his whole body have great pressure. While his body would grow, the dimension was the dimension of training a guardian angel. This level required was demanding, since no one except Beerus, the leader of the Supreme Gods, had been able to withstand it. I'm sure Kakarot can master that pressure. I want to know what my father's reaction will be when he learns there's another being that overcomes the power of a king. Returning to the dimension, after a few hours in which Kakarot had suffered an agonizing pain, almost close to death, he would stand up and realize his body had evolved. Since he was the adult version of it, a great power ran through his interior. I'm ready to master the energy of a god completely. I know I can beat Mr. Beerus. Kakarot would begin his rigorous training in order to surpass the leader of the Supreme Gods. Kakarot in this dimension would begin rigorous training. Though no one was watching, he was always on the verge of death. The Saiyans were able to become more powerful after great wounds on the battlefield. Kakarot knew this, so he would get more power to train as well as generate great damage, simulating real battles. I gotta be able to master all my power. I don't need any ordinary Super Saiyan transformations. Whis recommended to me to be able to master them. I don't know why, but I will. Kakarot would continue his training, which on this occasion not only depended on physical training, since he did meditate and in extreme environments, so his body would get used to the gravity while meditating. On the other hand, and outside of the dimension, Whis, in the same way, would train Bardock. Although he'd been able to achieve overwhelming power against all mortals, gods were simple just worms, since the divine immortal energy had abysmal difference. I'm still surprised. I didn't know how Kakarot's been able to be born with the energy beyond a god of destruction. If even you are his father, it is difficult for him to master the essence of a god. Damn it, Whis. Even if it doesn't look like it, it's frustrating. Despite this, I know I could do it because I would have never imagined to achieve this. I know I'll be able to do it without any difficulty. Those are the words I like to hear, so I don't agree with warriors who give up. They are right that several warriors are able to be born with a greater talent, but if a lower class warrior tries hard, he is able to overcome it. I agree. Keep training with me. Of course, Bardock, but this time no longer fight against me. Even if I decrease my power to the lowest, it won't be a match. I have decided that this warrior will be his opponent. A great light of his staff and whisk when an ordinary warrior would appear in front of all. Ha! Don't make me laugh. This guy's a human. I'm sure he doesn't even have a divine energy. I could knock him out in one swoop. Bardock, if you don't underestimate him, I'm sure he'll surprise you because he is a human, but the power he's able to get made him the king of all humans in an alternate line. Bardock, surprised, would try to clarify this part. Nice to see him again, Whis-sama, after so long. Apparently he wants me to face this warrior, and he's got great power, but he won't be able to do anything against me. The power differences aren't equal. Bardock, a little annoyed, would pounce on this guy, and his fist would be stopped by a single finger. I hadn't finished talking. It's rude. That's the only reason I accept this match, to be able to grant you some good manners. Ho ho ho! So we'll witness a battle between the human Atreion and the Saiyan Bardock, the humans who are able to take over the divine energy and the most powerful Saiyan of all mortals. What? How's it possible a human's able to get this divine energy? I can't believe it. His pressure isn't even threatening. Bardock instantly would watch as everything would change, and the power of this warrior, the moment Atreion had released a little of his pressure, was able to form a silhouette of death releasing back to the warrior. I hope you're ready. If you try to hit me, you'll have great power to back you up. Bardock, feeling the pressure of the warrior, fell on his body. He'd quickly access Super Saiyan 3 maximum power, generating devastations around the place. I'm not interested in getting you to master the energy of a god. I'm a Saiyan. I have no plans to lose, so get ready, worm. Atreion, without a word, would displace his aura in the form of shadows. Being able to hit him millions of times, Bardock, although he had his best effort to try to get away from the blows of his enemy, wasn't able to see anything. Bardock would be sent flying, causing a slight explosion. I don't get why warriors as weak as you always try to raise your power to limit and generate explosions. That only decreases the energy reserves. Just as I supposed, the difference in powers is amazing. No matter what Bardock tries, Atreion's power surpasses him tens of times. Bardock would stand with blood going out of his body. Even though Bardock didn't have divine energy, his body was resistant in the universe simply because he was of a warrior race. But the exchange of blows, Bardock disappointed himself. He wasn't able to connect any of his blows, and Atreion seemed to be playing with him. Behind you! Aren't you able to see my movements? You're a worm. I thought you'd be more powerful. I shouldn't have expected that of you. You think it was more powerful? Huh? Expectations? Don't piss me off, you good-for-nothing bug. I'll show you all my power. Bardock would instantly access Super Saiyan 4, but this time it was different. Due to the anger he felt, his power was able to release more, and from a great energy of explosion, it was possible to observe Bardock in Super Saiyan 4. This is all my power. I hope you're ready. I won't have any mercy on you. Mercy? Don't be crazy. I don't talk mercy, because even if there was 1,000 guys like you, you wouldn't be able to give me a scratch. The guy did what he wanted to at Bardock for losing his temper. Despite possessing divine energy, he was not a warrior. He had the advantage, not by much, for which it was the advantage which Bardock fights without any strategy, and he was getting it, since Bardock's attack was pouncing with more anger, which made him weaker in some points. Even Whis and Beerus had noticed.
That's not usual, Bardock. I'm not even a warrior, but I can notice his movements he's making. She's leaving a lot of weak points.
You are correct, Miss Beerus, although I'm surprised you're able to notice these points. Atreion is only cornering him psychologically. In the difference of powers, though, the divine immortal energy differs brutally. Atreon's not a warrior, and is not able to store so much energy. Kakarot's dimension, 6 months passed, and Kakarot was able to master various Super Saiyans. Although they weren't transformations that interested him, he was able to unlock a new level. Since accessing the Ultra Ego, the state with which he was able to be born, his body was much greater power was able to travel.
What's this feeling? I feel like a great power is inside me, but I'm only able to control it completely. Could it be the fruit of my training? I don't know, since I only focused on mastering the transformations of a Super Saiyan.
Kakarot would try to access the new latent power inside him. It was impossible since he didn't have the proper training to access it. Apparently with that power, I've got to be more powerful. Of course I could do it, but I'm still confused. Where'd all that power come from? Kakarot, without giving it too much importance, would begin to train physically as mentally. What Kakarot didn't know was that power was the variance of the Ultra Ego, and for that reason, Whis gave him a task of mastering the variance of the Super Saiyan, so when his body could adapt. Returning to the battlefield, Bardock began to receive a beating, since this time his power decreased, and due to this, Atreion was able to change his combat already for what was happening to defend his counterattack. Atreion was holding Bardock by the hair, nailing him in the base of the planet. Well, apparently it's been the end of a fight, since Bardock seems to have mastered his emotions in a better way. Whis was about to end the combat. A large sphere of energy was directed towards Bardock. Whis was about to interfere with his staff. He would stop, feeling a great energy from the crater, while Gine would scream, Whis, why would you help Bardock? It's not a workout. That energy sphere would end his life. Whis. Gine, in all this time I have held great affection for you. Don't worry, as I won't allow Mr. Bardock to die, but observe. From the crater, a great light would observe all over the place. Incredible energy was seen. Gine was surprised as she would notice Bardock's appearance had changed. His hair silver, and his gaze was able to be the most powerful warriors of Universe 7 tremble, not counting Beerus. I don't know what power runs through my body, but I'm sure with this new power I could defeat you, and I must thank you, because with you I access this new level. I don't say stupid things. It's correct the divine energy is currently lying in your body, but you can't master it, since you only let yourself be carried away by emotions. But something changed in Bardock. The words that Atreion said to him would be nothing. Bardock would flash and was able to connect a simple blow in the stomach. And though it looked ordinary, it wasn't. The damage he created was serious. Atreion, despite making every effort to stand up, was impossible, and the ground around him was muddied with blood. No, damn it! How could he cause me so much damage with one punch? This can't be true. I'm a human who mastered the essence of a god. Atreion would get back on his feet while staring intently at Bardock with great anger, would pounce on him. But Bardock would access Ultra Instinct and was able to dodge each one of his blows, while Bardock would connect a few blows, generating great damage. Well, I didn't expect this. Bardock hasn't been able to master the essence of a god, but since he was able to access the Ultra Instinct, definitely this family loves to skip the process, since even Kakarot was born with the power of a god. What's happened to Bardock? How are you able to get that new power? And how is he able to master it? Since I understand that it is divine power. Really, I don't have the answer, because it's not able to concentrate all his emotions and channel his power. Accessing this state is impossible. No, I don't plan to lose. This attack, I'll use all my power. Atreion would begin to channel his power in the palm of his hand, while great rumbles were generated. Don't you think that it was pathetic that warriors generate devastation? This time, you're the pathetic one you just talked about. I won't let you get away with it. On this planet, it'll be your grave. A great attack from Atreion began to attack Bardock. Without flinching, charge a small sphere of energy, but at the moment of collision, both attacks would be evenly matched. Everything was a farce because Bardock at that moment would smile. I hope you didn't think that was all my power. Bardock would expel more power, destroying Atreion's attack, but before he was reached, it would give way to an attack, being able to evaporate all over the place. A big explosion was formed all over the planet of Beerus. I'm surprised at the power that Bardock has achieved, but that attack you tried to end the life of your opponent. The only thing I've done is return the favor, since he's trying to end my life. The two were chatting. Whis would start to sound. That's right, Kakarot's training had come to an end, being able to leave that dimension, being able to feel extreme power. Well, I thought it would take longer, but apparently they are all both prodigies. This will be interesting for when Mr. Beerus wakes up. Instantly, the planet of the God of Destruction began to tremble, since Kakarot's power, being so great, was able to seep through the energy barriers, which had annoyed Beerus, releasing all his power at once, destroying everything around him, making the entire Universe 7 shudder. Father, I didn't know what kind of transformation that is, but if we have a great battle against the God of Destruction, Beerus? It would be the greatest honor to have battled such a god, and much more next to my son. The power of both warriors in the same way was beginning to increase to divine levels of great scales. An incredible power of the most powerful god of the 12 gods would become present in Universe 7. Although Bardock along with Kakarot released their power, the pressure released by Beerus was madness. Whis would take the alternative by creating a great barrier in Universe 7, and that battle that was about to occur was apocalyptic. Well, on a very few occasions I could see Mr. Beerus upset. This is because he wanted to feel Kakarot's energy. In the entire course of the Battle of Bardock, Beerus has not woken up. I don't care who you are, but at this moment I'm going to finish each and every one of you. You've interrupted my sleep. Now, die! Beerus had a flashing speed, which even for Kakarot and Bardock was able to observe. Beerus couldn't connect a blow to each of them. Bardock's body, despite moving on its own accord, had not been able to dodge the blow and was flying with great power over the planet. Without ending the attack, Beerus would throw hundreds of spheres against them, who would not have enough time to recover. Thousands of attacks began to head towards them. No, damn it! Galactic Atomizer! A great attack would be thrown, being able to repel most of the spheres. Kakarot instantly from Beerus' blind spot would try to connect a blow. Beerus, with incredible dexterity, would dodge, holding him by the neck, dragging him over the planet and destroying everything. Bardock, seeing this, would likewise pounce against Beerus, but it was useless. Bardock, despite using his speed, wasn't able to reach, and Beerus would stop instantly, holding Bardock by the neck. I don't know what the two Saiyans are supposed to do on my planet, but the power they have is crap. They aren't able to entertain me. In this case, will end their lives being able to calm me down just a little. Beerus with one blow sent them flying, carrying a large sphere of destruction. I can't believe you have this power. It's not matter what kind of power you have, you will be able to end our life so easy. If you want to take our life, you're going to have to be more powerful, since we're the most powerful race of the universe. Bardock, with Kakarot in the same way, would channel a great power in the palm of their hands. Instantly, both sides launched their respective attacks, colliding with a very even way. But the destruction that was generated was of another level.
That's amazing! The true power of the god Beerus!
Of course not, Guinea, you're mistaken. Mr. Beerus hasn't even used 100% of his power. This is only a part of it. Meanwhile, in universes far away, a trio of warriors were born with the same abilities as Kakarot and would observe the battle. And I expect this, Beerus, the former leader of the holy gods, still retains incredible destructive power. I thought he was able to be relieved by his position. His powers decreased, but contrary, it seems to increase.
That's because Beerus, like us, has been born with the power of the gods, and despite this, he was able to train his power, because as the leader of the holy gods, his power should be the order. Even his power is on par with Daishinken. At that moment, the warrior who was sitting on his throne would stand. Doing so, everything around him froze. That pressure was released over the place, incomparable. Neen's right. She's also wrong about something. Because even though we are born with the power beyond of God as destruction, there are hierarchies among us, and I want to prove that. The current leader of the sacred gods, that is me, against that damn cat. Everything around him was shaking, being able to cause destruction. In this part, return to the battlefield, both attacks would explode. Between the smoke screen, Beerus would hit the Saiyans, causing them to fall. You call yourself a warrior race? You're flies compared to the power of a god. You're not worthy to call yourself warriors. No, damn. I can't believe the power of Beerus is capable of this. I thought that with the power of a god I could cope with it. I was mistaken. You really possess overwhelming power. I didn't want to use this transformation, and I doubted your true power. I wanted to use it against Whis, but you leave me no choice.
What, you underestimated me? Ha! Make me laugh. You try to use all your power reserved, you can't do nothing. No, Kakarot, it's better not to ask for help. Since we don't have the power to face him, it'll go a long way to be at his level. Kakarot, without paying attention, would clench his fists, and around him everything would tremble. The power was reaching incredible for Whis. That power would surpass several angels, only being below Daishinken and Whis being the holy angels. Kakarot's hair would glow and grow, and an incredible pressure would fall on Beerus' entire body. Kakarot, with a great roar and explosion, would access a new state. This is the new power I've been able to get with my training. I hope you're ready, Beerus, since you can't force me to use everything. This is gonna get funny. I must confess, you have incredible power. No matter how much you increase it, you can't beat me. We'll only know that if we start fighting. Kakarot, surpassing the speed of light, lashed out on Beerus, granting him great blows. Beerus, with difficulty, would try to stop him with his forearm, but with the power, Beerus' arm was destroyed. Kakarot would quickly knock him to the ground, and Beerus, with his dexterity, would dodge, and with his other arm lashing out, Kakarot was able to block, but his power was so great, he sent it towards a few mountains, destroying the terrain. A single blow from that guy could break my arm. His power with that transformation's on another level.
Well, well, Lord Beerus, after millions of years, used his definitive state again, or better known as the leader of the holy gods. Beerus would increase his power, generating destruction through the planet, and Universe 7 were shaking with that power expelled. Beerus would observe a new form of combat, leaving them surprised.
Wow, so you're hiding your true power. Huh, because you know I'll use all my energy. I can't believe that power is able to free Beerus, but even with that power, my son's calm. I gotta help him. Bardock positioned himself to Kakarot's side with a great determination. I appreciate your help, since we have started this battle together, and together we'll finish it. Let's do our best, Father, and become more powerful. Of course, Kakarot, we're the most powerful Saiyans of the cosmos. We'll overcome the power of a god of destruction. I'm surprised you can force me to use my ultimate state. I hope you're ready. This transformation I'm not able to control with my power. Beerus, with incredible speed, would knock Kakarot both at a great speed and exchange millions of blows. Bardock tried to follow, but it was impossible, since he could only see a few flashes on the battlefield. Damn it, I don't have the power to help my son. The only thing I could do is give him all my power. Bardock would stretch out his hands, transmitting his power to the Ultra Instinct to him. The battle of both warriors through Universe 7, Kakarot would oversight Beerus and would see one of his legs dragging him over the planet, destroying everything, and without wasting time would rise to the top of the planet. Receive this power! I know you won't die because you have incredible power! Kakarot would be able to gather large amounts of energy in his palms, being able to throw it against Beerus. Realizing that his attack was about to collide with him, he would raise his power to the max, and his incredible aura was able to disintegrate that attack. Ugh, that hurt too much. I gotta retain my ultimate state, since previously I was able to disintegrate attacks, surprising me. But now that damage on my body, his technique is incredible. Beerus vomited blood, but quickly got on his feet. The holy gods were watching everything that happened. I didn't expect that. I thought Beerus lost his final state, but apparently he's able to access that state through transformation. I don't want to fight him. I want to return to the humiliations of the past.
My lord, I completely trust your powers, but don't you think it's a bad idea to go against Beerus? Even in the sacred scrolls, Beerus is praised as a deity of great power. It'd be better to leave everything that is till now. Although it is hard for me to admit, I agree with Yasuke. We trust in his power, but really the feats of Beerus are amazing. He was able to train us, and although the three of us fought together, we weren't able to beat him. Yaibo, annoyed, would expel great power, being able to completely bend them. That's right, despite his companions, Yaibo's power was growing unbridled. I don't want that damn good-for-nothing cat again. Even though he has great power, he's not invincible, and I'm going in for millions of years. I'm sure I can beat him. Yaibo clenched his fists so tight drops of blood would be able to collect out of them. Oh, I swear I'll end the life of Beerus. I've got to be able to collect everything he was able to do to me and hold his head as a trophy. Returned to the battlefield, the warriors in terrible conditions were despite falling to the ground and got back to their feet. I have no plans to lose. Even my father entrusted me with his power. I can't disappoint him. I'll be the most powerful Saiyan of the 12 universes. I can't believe his ancient leader of the holy gods is deplorable conditions. The power of that Saiyan is dangerous. Both stared at each other on the planet destroyed. Both warriors were raising their powers to the limit, because this time the end of the combat was their definitive attack. I hope you're ready. I'll use all my power, and this technique was the Dragon Destroyer of the Great Beerus. It doesn't matter what it is, I'll support my parents and support them to become more powerful. Get my blow, Dragon God! Instantly, the attacks were launched, but the techniques were similar. The instant technique of collides would everything around them destroy, because the condensed energy in each was of a higher level. Oh, this is bad. If the techniques collide more than 2 minutes, it'll generate an explosion so powerful it'll destroy everything.
Whis, you better stop them, because in this case, if they explode, like you said, Universe 7 would be destroyed.
Oh, don't worry, Bardock. If that would happen again, the other angels would be able to master Mr. Beerus, but me being a sacred angel, I have nothing to worry about. At that moment, the technique of both warriors would explode, starting to destroy everything in their path. However, the black hole would form from the staff of Whis, being able to absorb both techniques without difficulty. With the power I have, it's impossible for both of them to destroy the universe, since I am still here to protect it. But from above, both warriors would begin to fall towards Beerus' planet, colliding, destroying the base of it. Apparently they've reached their limits, but that's just the beginning, because it is incredible that Kakarot would train for no more than 2 years, coping with Beerus, who was able to train for millions. Whis would heal the wounds of both, but still out of combat, the trio of the Holy Gods were preparing to go to the planet of Beerus and visit their former commander.
It's time to pay Beerus a visit, and that's Saiyan who had the power to face the definitive state of Beerus. It's really funny. I think I'll be able to access my combat status. The Sacred Gods were about to leave Universe 7 with the intention of meeting Kakarot. Since the 4 warriors born with the power beyond a god of destruction, there's 3 Sacred Gods and the 4th, and the last was Beerus, the leader of the Sacred Gods, because the power is incomparable. Finally today I'll be able to crush Beerus. I wanted to measure myself one-on-one in battle. I don't plan to lose for the world.
My lord, we have to be ready for Universe 7 to see our ancient leader, and the most powerful sacred god that's existed to this day.
But that changes today, Neen. I'm gonna end that damn cat's life. He won't be able to do anything against me since my power's incomparable. I'm sure you'll be able to get the victory, Zeno-sama, since his power is thousands of times higher than that Beerus power. His power has apparently decreased over the years, and his has been consistently rising. But words aside, it's time to leave. My body's shaking with emotion. Millions of years, I haven't seen my commander Beerus. The gods at great speed went to Beerus' planet. Despite their speed being sacred gods, on the outskirts of the 12 universes, the distance was huge. But being a little close, they'd get crushed against a planet. The 3 without exception, even Yibo, who was called the new leader of the sacred gods, were brought to their knees without being able to do anything. What the hell is this? I can't even move! Who's releasing this power? I can't even move. I feel like my body's being crushed.
My bones are being destroyed by this pressure. This surpassing that of the king of all, since we're not able to withstand the pressure.
I don't know what the hell's happening, but the whole being who's releasing this pressure has gotta be a monster. We're the holy gods not able to do anything against this pressure. On the planet of Beerus, with the Great Barrier, was protecting everyone present. And with Beerus and Kakarot waking up, since over the planet, a great portal was formed, which was incredible pressure being present. And it's so powerful, would bend Whis. But Whis, as Supreme Archangel, his power was on par with Zeno-sama. And who is this pressure from? I feel like my body is limited by 50%. Even my body weighs too much. What's happening over here? Whis, apparently something doesn't add up, since a great pressure is released over the 7 universes. But look, apparently someone's coming out of that portal releasing that pressure.
Yes, Whis, Bardock's right. Look, a shadow can be observed in the portal.
Whis would observe intently, realizing Bardock again had told him the truth, since this figure was appearing in the portal. It was Zamasu fusion. But this timeline, no one present knew who that was, because Kakarot at this time hadn't been sent to the planet Earth, and in fact, he was actually raised by the deities of Universe 7. Where the hell's Son Goku, or Kakarot? I want to finish the Gokus of different timelines, since that dirty mortal dirtied the beautiful divine world, and because of his ability, he surpassed the gods. First of all, who are you supposed to be, since you can't even come to this place with the intention of looking for Kakarot if we don't know who you are? You better explain yourself. So, a simple angel with the audacity to speak to me in that tone. Ha! For your information, I can wipe out all the gods and angels of different timelines. In that case, I'll no longer let you leave this place. If you are able to wipe out the gods and angels, it is my duty as the Supreme Archangel to eradicate you. In no other timeline did I hear you say that you're the Supreme Archangel. I guess this time you're in this timeline more powerful. I'll take you seriously. Zamasu would activate an artifact, achieved by one of his many trips in the dimensions, making Whis motionless.
What the hell's going on? I can't even move my muscles. What did you do to me?
Millions of years ago, I heard the legend of a Supreme Archangel. I never had the opportunity to meet him, so it's said that the power is compared to that of a king at all. I don't trust myself. This artifact's capable of paralyzing any being that has in its veins the blood of Daishinken.
Damn, and we angels are his children. We can't move. All of Daishinken-sama's blood runs through our veins.
Zamasu would approach the barrier created by Whis and destroy it with a single blow. He'd be surprised by the incredible blow of Bardock Super Saiyan 4. That's right, Bardock used his power and would try to protect his own. Gine, get out of here. Take Kakarot and Mr. Beerus with you. I'll manage to give you the necessary time to leave.
Bardock, don't do it! I can't leave you alone! That guy is able to mobilize Whis without a finger! You'll be destroyed!
Maybe you're right, Whis, but we'll find out when we fight. If that wretch wants to take the life of Kakarot, he'll have to do it over my dead body. I have no plans to let him finish my son. Bardock with determination would grant a shower of blows to Zamasu, but to his surprise, Bardock would notice Zamasu's smile did not disappear. Damn, don't you make fun of me! Galactic Atomizer of Gods! An incredible attack would reach Zamasu completely. Despite this, he wasn't able to generate even a bit of damage, and only a few scratches. Nothing serious. The sacred gods were able to reach because Zamasu decreased his power at the lowest tension of measuring with Bardock, and the gods were able to travel the small stretch that they had.
So this is the guy releasing his power. Although he's not that powerful, when I look at him, my body's shaking. I don't know why my body shudders. Every one of his movements are of the highest rank, since that combat's only surpassed by the Supreme Kings.
I don't know where the hell that bastard came from, but we can't let him end Beerus' life. I only will end that miserable Beerus' life.
But, my lord, Beerus isn't here. Apparently that woman's able to help with Beerus, the next warrior who's like us.
In that case, as the current leader of the Holy Gods, I order to have them come to call and fight by my side against that bastard. As you order. At this moment, I don't plan to hold back, since that wretch is able to humiliate us in the worst way possible. Yasuke instantly would transform. Hundreds of lightning bolts released over the place, and just around him, everything would tremble. Whis would realize the power of the one of the Holy Gods, being amazed the power that was perceived.
Apparently this is the power of Yasuke, one of the Holy Gods. But what are they doing here? Have you come to help Mr. Beerus?
I doubt that. It must be something else. The Holy Gods hate Beerus, since he abandoned them. Nin's power would be released throughout Universe 7, making him shake, even attracting Zamasu, who held Bardock by the neck because he had completely beat him. Well, apparently there's interesting warriors in this timeline. I've been able to meet with Supreme Archangel and the warriors of great powers, but my only goal is to end the life of Son Goku. Nin with Yasuke rushed against Zamasu without words. Yaibo was the leader, channeling his power in the center of his energy vein in order to access his true combat form. This transformation's not even known to Beerus. I've got it after he left us. His transformation is the effort of my training, so watch. Yaibo's body began to change completely, apparently getting very similar to that of a child, and his power exploded greatly. I know from my appearance you might doubt my power, but I want you to watch this and observe. Yaibo would instantly move at a great speed, which this time was difficult for Whis and Zamasu because his body shrank even more. His speed and power condensed in a better way. It's time for me to join the battlefield. You won't end the life of anyone here. I want you to end someone's life here, and if you do, it'll pass over to the first holy gods. The trio of sacred gods rushed Zamasu, and his power was incomparable. Having thrown to be absorbed by the different gods and angels, Bardock would be thrown to the ground injured and on the verge of death. The sacred gods would exchange blows with Zamasu, and the only one able to do something against Zamasu was Yaibo, because his speed was able to overcome Zamasu's instincts. And Gine, with Beerus to get him to wake up, being a little surprised to feel the energy of the other comrades. What's going on? Last thing I remember was fighting this Saiyan, but after I'm not able to remember anything and I feel the energy of holy gods, has even greater danger arrived?
I don't know what you mean by holy gods, Mr. Beerus, but a guy appeared from a portal and wanted to end my son's life. He was even able to neutralize Whis. Bardock granted us time to be able to flee.
Oh, this is bad. No ordinary being has the ability to neutralize Whis, since his power is compared to Daishinken. Kakarot would wake up with a bit of a headache.
Oh, what's happening? What's the fuss about? I don't even understand what's happening.
From what I understand, your name's Kakarot. What do you think if we have one more battle? But this time to eliminate the evil that haunts our planet.
Heh, I don't know what you're talking about, but if it's fighting, I'm with you. It's an honor for me to team up with Beerus.
Both warriors at a great speed would go to the battlefield, and when arriving, Beerus' anger would grow to incredible levels, and watch as Nin and Yasuke were lying on the ground defeated. While Yaiba was trying to do something against Zamasu, but not able to support his companions, he wasn't able to generate noticeable damage against Zamasu. Planetary attraction. You fucking worm, I'm gonna confess. You possess great speed, but your power's pathetic. You can't even do anything against me. A great gravitational force was beginning to bring Yaiba closer to his hands, which was able to hold him by the neck. Yaiba, even though he was punching and kicking, couldn't even get rid of his grip. No damn will I die like this! I won't be able to have a great battle against someone like Beerus. Surprised to realize how Zamasu's arm would be cut off by the great destructive scythe. That's right, Beerus would use all his sacred god destruction energy. You're mistaken if you think you could come to my planet and finish off my friends. To end their lives, you'll have to end mine first. I'm the commander of the holy gods. Beerus would hold Yaiba, putting him in a safe place next to Nin and Yasuke. You've done it in an amazing way. I gotta thank you for helping the warriors who are on the battlefield. They're not bad people after all. Beerus would prostrate himself in front of Zamasu like Kakarot. I finally found you, son Goku. I want to end your life on this timeline because a being like you can't exist in any universe. Zamasu, with a great speed, would rush against Kakarot. Beerus would get a hold of him in the middle of the onslaught. However, he couldn't do anything since Zamasu's speed would increase even more, not even connecting a blow to Kakarot, making him fall to the ground, destroying everything around him.
I wasn't even on guard yet. I'd never even seen you. I'll have to use all the power I've gotten from Whis' training. You better get ready.
Kakarot would access Super Saiyan 4, but this time the aura that came out of the whole place was amazing. His whole body combined with the state of the energy of Ultra Ego. Because of this, his power would increase greatly. Kakarot, the power I'm using is only one that I can hold for 5 minutes at most. We gotta defeat him in that time span.
I agree, Beerus-sama. I don't master this transformation at even 10%, so the max limit's 5 minutes or I'll explode.
Both warriors, without wasting time, launched themselves against Zamasu and started to exchange hundreds of blows. And Zamasu, an immortal, would, thanks to the beyond energy of a god of destruction, would take advantage, and his own cells were destroyed by each blow. What's happening to my body? This can't be happening. I'm the perfect deity. A god next to this mortal can't beat me. It's time, Kakarot. Let's do it. Dragon of total destruction.
Me too. Blows of destruction, dragon god.
Zamasu, in the middle of the attacks, would be able to reach him, and being disintegrated to the point even his atoms wouldn't exist. Whis would be able to move freely again, holding Kakarot and Beerus.
Wow, it definitely surpasses me too, as I think you'll be able to get that overwhelming energy up as they team up.
Whis, in the same way, with his staff, would heal the wounds of the holy gods and stood in front of Beerus. I gotta thank you again, and I clarify that if I left, I was a coward. I know that Yaiba was an excellent commander. No matter what happened, he could support his comrades, and that makes him only a leader. The sacred gods, without saying anything, would leave with a big smile. Kakarot and Bardock would see everything that happened, and in the same way, Kakarot, without knowing it, would be called the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, known as the Ozaru of Destruction. Vegeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved caused a dramatic change in the intensity of the battle. His bright blue aura flashed with overwhelming energy as he charged towards the shadowy creature and Broly, who was still under his influence. It's time to put an end to this. Broly, I'll fight to free you from this darkness. The shadow creature, sensing the threat posed by Super Saiyan Blue, adopted a defensive stance. On the other hand, Broly, his eyes still darkened, prepared to face Vegeta. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of quick and precise attacks, combining punches and kicks with astonishing speed. Each move was charged with the strength of the new form, and the shadow creature was forced to retreat in the face of Vegeta's fury.
Broly, regain control. I'll not allow this darkness to consume you.
Broly, under the influence of the Dark Possession, responded with impressive stamina. His attacks were brutal and uncontrolled, but Vegeta moved with a dexterity that defied expectations.
I need to find an opening in this possession.
In an act of bravery, Vegeta launched himself directly towards Broly. Their fists collided forcefully, and Vegeta, using all his skill, made precise strikes that temporarily weakened the dark influence.
Broly, fight this! You're stronger than this darkness!
The shadowy creature, seeing Vegeta's resistance, increased his energy and fused even more with Broly. Now the dark influence was more entrenched than ever, and Broly unleashed an explosion of wild power.
You can't stop me, Saiyan Prince!
Vegeta, not backing down, continued to engage Broly. The battle reached new heights as both warriors unleashed their most powerful attacks. Vegeta launched a Big Bang attack while Broly responded with a gigantic charge of dark energy. The collision of energies generated a huge explosion that blanketed the area. After the dust settled, Vegeta lay on the ground, clearly exhausted but not giving up.
I can't lose. My determination's stronger than your darkness.
The battle between Vegeta and Broly, who was possessed by the shadow creature, reached a critical point. The overflowing energy of the confrontation was spreading across the battlefield, distorting the air and creating palpable tension. At that crucial moment, Goku found himself regaining consciousness, stood up, and immediately went to Saiyan Prince's side.
Vegeta, let's go! Let's give it all we've got!
Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan Phase 2 and joined the fray. The shadow creature, seeing the arrival of another Saiyan warrior, prepared to face the new threat.
Kakarot, you're just in time. This thing has gotten stronger with Broly.
We'll face it together! Broly, we won't let this darkness control you!
The three Saiyans stood in formation, ready to deal with the shadow creature fused with Broly. The intensity of the conflict increased even more, with flashes of energy and clashes of fists echoing throughout the battlefield.
Come on, Kakarot, let's attack in unison and free Broly.
I got it, Vegeta! Together, we'll free him!
The Saiyans coordinated their attacks, launching a combined blast towards the shadow creature. Despite their efforts, Broly's dark possession was still resisting, fueled by the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan. Broly, under the influence of the shadow creature, unleashed an uncontrolled fury. His attacks were unpredictable and devastating, putting the Saiyans on the defensive. Goku, Vegeta, and the shadow creature continued to exchange energy blasts and powerful blows.
Vegeta, we must break that possession! We can't let Broly fall into darkness!
Roger that, Kakarot. Let's keep attacking together.
Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, the fiery aura of the Saiyans lit up the sky, a visual manifestation of their mammoth power. Goku and Vegeta, feeling the weight of the battle, decided to take it a step further. They joined their energies in a symphony of power, a final bid to tear apart the shadows enveloping the evil presence. The shadow creature, on the brink of the abyss, responded with desperation. It raised its own power, and the darkness churned with intensity as it struggled to resist the combined onslaught of the Saiyans. The clash of energies created a cataclysm of flashes and booms, shaking the battlefield to its core. At that critical moment, the energy explosion was unleashed with dazzling magnificence. The earth shook, and the shockwaves swept across the landscape, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, enveloped in the blanket of the explosion, were momentarily eclipsed by the blinding light and dancing shadow. When the shimmering luminosity faded, the Saiyans found themselves faced with a new scenario. On the ground lay Broly, his figure shrouded in a residual haze of the contest. The dark aura that had consumed him had finally dissipated. Stillness reigned on the battlefield. As the warriors approached with worried looks, the formidable warrior who now resisted, his power darkened, finally silenced.
We did it, Vegeta! Broly's free!
Yes, but this shadow creature's still a problem. We can't let our guard down.
Vegeta nodded grimly as they watched Broly, who lay on the ground, slowly recovering from the intense battle. However, at that moment of apparent calm, the shadow creature, cunning and unnoticed, had left Broly's possession to seek a new host. The dark entity swiftly swept into the shadows, unnoticed by the Saiyans, who still assessing their companion's condition. Silently, the shadow creature crept towards Gohan, who had been watching the battle from a distance. Gohan, oblivious to the threat looming over him, felt a shiver run down his spine just as the shadow creature enveloped him with its dark presence. A momentary flash of its eyes indicated that something was terribly wrong. At that instant, Gohan, with a sudden alteration in his expression, went on guard without warning. His gaze, now posed by the shadow creature, glowed with a malevolence that contrasted with his gentle nature. Goku, noticing the sudden tension, turned towards Gohan, but before he could react, Gohan, under the influence of the shadow creature, moved with supernatural speed. The confrontation with Broly had left the Saiyans exhausted, and the shadow creature, seizing the opportunity, vanished into the darkness along with Gohan. Vegeta, realizing the situation, gritted his teeth in fury. The threat persisted, and now Gohan, a valuable ally, was in the hands of the shadows. Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for a new confrontation, aware that the battle had not yet come to an end. The tension in the air was palpable, as Goku and Vegeta, still worried about Broly, with determination, turned towards the place where the dark entity had vanished.
Damn it, where'd that thing go?
I don't know, Vegeta, but we must find it before it hurts Gohan. The two Saiyans, quick as the wind, rushed towards where Gohan had been standing, their senses alert. The shadow creature, now inside Gohan, emerged from the shadows with a sinister laugh.
Ha 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 ha! Looks like they're not as cunning as they thought. Now I have a new toy for my plans. Get out of Gohan, you damn creature!
I'll not allow you to possess my son!
Ha! You think you could stop me? My power possesses even more of your combined forces. Do not underestimate the Saiyans. We have overcome greater challenges than you.
Leave Gohan and face your fate, creature. You'll not be victorious. The shadow creature, now in control of Gohan, smiled malevolently before responding.
We'll see how long you can resist. Gohan is now an instrument of my will.
The shadow creature possessing Gohan unleashed a burst of dark energy that distorted the surrounding space. Goku and Vegeta suddenly found themselves during a chaotic confrontation, with Gohan now transformed into an instrument of the malevolent entity. The waves of energy radiating from Gohan's possessed figure created an ominous aura that filled the battlefield, defying the Saiyans' endurance and determination. The Saiyans, in their Super Saiyan Blue form, prepared for the impending clash. The shadow creature, using Gohan's body, moved with supernatural agility, dodging the Saiyans' first attacks with grace and malice. Gohan, his eyes now filled with darkness, lunged at Goku with astonishing speed. Goku blocked Gohan's first few blows with difficulty, feeling the enhanced strength and speed of his new controlled son. The fight was intense, each move charged with power and ferocity. Meanwhile, Vegeta positioned himself strategically, assessing the situation, looking for an opening to attack. The shadow creature, through Gohan, unleashed a flurry of attack, which devastating blows that kept Goku on the defensive. However, Goku's ability to adapt quickly to the battle allowed him to counter the attacks and counterattack with his own overwhelming power. Vegeta, sensing an opportunity, lunged at the shadow creature from an unexpected angle. However, the dark entity had sharp reflexes and deflected Vegeta's attack with ease, throwing Gohan against Goku as a distraction. The Shadows creature's strategy paid off, as it took advantage of the distraction to hit Vegeta with a beam of dark energy. Vegeta, although he resisted the impact, was momentarily weakened. The entity, now with a malevolent smile, turned to him.
Damn it! This isn't over, shadow creature.
Goku, reacting quickly, stepped between the shadow creature and Vegeta. Vegeta, hold on! We can't let this thing divide us. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos it had sown, released a dark aura that enveloped both Saiyans. The dark energy sought to confuse and weaken their senses. However, the Saiyans' instinctive connection to Ki enabled them to resist the dark influence. The battle raged in a frenzy of clashing colors and energies. Gohan, controlled by the shadow creature, moved with a mixture of speed and agility that defied the laws of physics. Goku and Vegeta, each focusing on their own battlefront, were trying to coordinate their attacks to free Gohan from the dark possession. Gohan, fight this darkness! You're stronger than this! Gohan, though showing flashes of resistance, was caught in an internal struggle between his will and the shadow creature's control. The battle grew more challenging. With each passing second, the shadow creature reveled in its ability to manipulate and corrupt one of Earth's mightiest warriors. Vegeta, recovering from the earlier onslaught, threw himself back into the fray. The shadow creature, however, anticipated his attack and gracefully dodged Vegeta's attempts to strike it. The dark entity counterattacked with a series of precise blows that forced Vegeta to retreat.
Damn Shadow, don't underestimate the Prince of the Saiyans.
Goku, seeing his partner's difficulty, raised his power to the maximum. Dazzling energy emanated from his Super Saiyan Blue form as he prepared for a concentrated attack. The shadow creature, noticing the glowing threat, diverted its attention to Goku.
Vegeta, keep up the pressure. I'm gonna concentrate my energy to free Gohan.
Vegeta nodded and increased his offensive, distracting the shadow creature as Goku concentrated his power. The fight reached a new level of intensity, with each move echoing across the vast battlefield. The energy collided, creating shockwaves that distorted reality itself. Goku, eyes glowing with determination, unleashed his most powerful attack. A sphere of glowing blue energy formed in his outstretched hands. Charged with the combined strength of the Saiyans, the spear grew in size and the power as Goku had held it in place.
It's time to free Gohan!
The shadow creature, realizing the threat, moved quickly to stop Goku's attack. Vegeta, taking advantage of the distraction, lunged with renewed fury, looking for an opening to attack. The battle reached its climax when Goku released the energy sphere, ascending it directly towards the shadow creature. The energy sphere burst into a dazzling flash, illuminating the battlefield with intense light. Shockwaves swept through the darkness as Goku's purifying energy sought to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession. However, as the light faded and the earth stopped shaking, the shadow creature emerged seemingly unharmed. The dark entity, now irritated, turned to the Saiyans with a twisted laugh.
Is that all you can do? My power is unbreakable.
Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for the next assault. The battle, far from ending, dragged on into confrontation of epic proportions. Darkness and light collided in an endless clash, with the will of the Saiyans resisting against the entity that threatened to plunge them into the shadows. The dark creature, after resisting Goku's powerful attack, showed a malicious smile. A dark glow enveloped Gohan, and his body began to tremble with intensity. A guttural scream echoed through the air as the dark entity forced a unique transformation on the Saiyan warrior. Gohan, under the shadow creature's influence, contorted and his body was enveloped in a dark, feral energy. The earth trembled with the intensity of the transformation, and Gohan's figure began to change. Defined musculature, red eyes, a wild gaze, long gray hair, and emerging in the new form, Gohan Dark Beast. Vegeta and Goku, shocked by the unexpected evolution, instinctively recoiled from the overwhelming presence of Dark Gohan Beast. The shadow creature had accomplished what it could not do with Broly, unleash a unique and uncontrolled transformation on Gohan. Dark Beast Gohan, now freed from any hint of rationality, roared skyward, emitting an overwhelming energy that shook the battlefield. His eyes glowed with an animalistic intensity, and his posture indicated that human control was suppressed.
This can't be happening. What did that thing do?
The shadow creature managed to unlock something inside Gohan. This won't be easy.
The shadow creature, pleased with the success of its manipulation, watched the scene with satisfaction.
Now, witness my true power. The Saiyan Beast Warrior. How do you plan to stop him?
Dark Beast Gohan let out a deafening roar and lunged towards Vegeta with impressive speed. Dark Beast Gohan's attacks were ferociously savage, his brute strength and speed surpassing even Broly's most rampaging transformation. Vegeta, using his speed and agility, dodged Dark Beast Gohan's first attacks. However, the Saiyan Beast Warrior's ferocity was unpredictable, and Vegeta was forced to deploy all his skill to stay out of range of the devastating attacks. Goku, assessing the situation, transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed to Vegeta's aid. The two Saiyans fought in tactical coordination, looking to open an opportunity to counter Gohan's savage new form. The battle became a whirlwind of energy, with explosions and crashes echoing across the battlefield. The shadow creature in the shadows continued to manipulate and fuel Dark Beast Gohan's fury. The Saiyan strategy was becoming more and more challenging as Dark Beast Gohan seemed to be one step ahead, anticipating their moves.
Damn it! Gohan Beast is too unpredictable.
We must find a way to free Gohan from this transformation. We can't let the shadow control his true power.
As the Saiyans faced Gohan Beast's fury, the shadow creature watched from the shadows, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment, and the Saiyans' endurance was being tested in the face of Beast Gohan's uncontrollable fury. The battle raged on in a titanic struggle between light and darkness, with the hope of freeing Gohan from the influence of the shadow creature hanging in delicate balance. The Saiyans, determined to overcome this challenge, faced an enemy that had managed to unleash an even greater internal threat than before. While the intense battle raged on the battlefield, Piccolo, the Namekian sage, was immersed in his mental training somewhere secluded. His concentration was so deep that he could feel an abrupt shifting ki, a disturbance that reverberated through space and time. A shiver ran down his back, indicating the gravity of the situation.
Something's not right.
The Namekian instantly stood up, his cloak billowing as he focused on the direction of the glowing chaos. The power he felt was not just brute force. It was an amalgam of dark energies that seemed to defy the very essence of reality. Wasting no time, Piccolo prepared to approach this side of the conflict. Back on the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta fought valiantly against Dark Beast Gohan, who moved with uncontrollable ferocity under the influence of the shadow creature. The dark entity, sensing Piccolo's arrival, smirked.
Looks like we have a new guest. This just gets more interesting.
Goku and Vegeta focused on Gohan Beast, noticing Piccolo's presence as he appeared on the battlefield with a serenity that contrasted with the surrounding chaos.
What happened here? What have you done with Gohan? That shadow thing possessed Gohan and transformed it into a wild beast.
We can't free Gohan this way. The shadow creature manipulates his power in unimaginable ways.
Dark Beast Gohan, noticing Piccolo's arrival, turned to him with wild eyes. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos, prepared for the next act of this heartbreaking play.
Welcome, Piccolo. You're just in time to witness the inevitable downfall of these Saiyans. Don't underestimate the Saiyans or my determination. I'm here to free Gohan.
The Namekian braced himself for the confrontation, deploying his ki with an intensity that made it clear he would not be a mere spectator in this battle. Dark Beast Gohan, fueled by the shadowy influence, roared and lunged towards Piccolo with a speed that defied all logic. The battle became even more chaotic with Piccolo's entrance. His movements were precise and calculated, contrasting with the wild ferocity of Dark Beast Gohan. Goku and Vegeta, aware of Piccolo's strategic skill, adjusted their approach to coordinate their attacks with the Namekian. Meanwhile, the shadow creature watched the battle with a Machiavellian smile, enjoying the confrontation between the forces of light and shadow. The dark entity was determined to prove that its influence was insurmountable. The fight unfolded in a whirlwind of colliding energies, with Piccolo demonstrating his tactical and strategic prowess. Dark Beast Gohan, however, remained a formidable challenge, his erratic movements and uncontrolled strength testing the tenacity of the warriors on the battlefield.
Goku, Vegeta, we need to plan to break the connection between Gohan and that shadow creature.
You're right, Piccolo. We need to attack from different fronts and destabilize that connection.
I'll take care of keeping Beast Gohan busy. Kakarot, you use the connection you have with your son to try to isolate the shadow creature.
Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their efforts with Piccolo's strategic expertise, went on the assault. Piccolo used his wisdom to be able to devise a way to get Dark Beast Gohan out of said possession, while Vegeta unleashed his fury with calculated attacks to keep the beast at bay. As the battle continued, the shadow creature began to feel the pressure of the combined strategy of the Saiyans and Piccolo. The connection between Gohan and the dark entity was under threat, and the shadow creature, despite its confidence, was beginning to show signs of concern. The battle was far from over, but the warriors' resilience was growing stronger in the face of the adversity that loomed over them. As Piccolo continued his mental struggle to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession, his Namekian senses sharpened. Keen perception led him to identify a small shadow leech clinging to Dark Beast Gohan's lower neck, a detail that had not been evident in Broly's previous possession due to his long hair covering that region.
That's it. The key in this little shadow leech on his neck. We must eliminate it to free Gohan.
Piccolo's revelation attracted the attention of Vegeta and Goku on the physical battlefield. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned his gaze to the back of Gohan Beast's dark neck and noticed the presence of the Shadow Leech.
A Shadow Leech? That explains why we couldn't free Broly this way.
How do we eliminate it without harming Gohan? As Piccolo struggled to maintain his mental connection, he analyzed this situation and came up with a strategy.
If we attack the Shadow Leech directly, we might harm Gohan in the process. We need a precise way to eliminate it without endangering his life. So what's the plan, Piccolo? Goku, you've mastered Ultra Instinct, but you can only maintain it for a few seconds. We need to take advantage of those brief moments to distract Dark Beast Gohan and allow you to get close enough to destroy the Shadow Leech.
Understood, Piccolo. I'll do my best.
But how do we make sure Beast Gohan doesn't attack while Kakarot's approaching? That's the tricky part. We need to keep Gohan busy and distracted. Vegeta, your attacks must be precise and constant, keeping his attention on you. I will, but Kakarot, don't make me regret this.
The battle resumed with renowned intensity. Vegeta went on the offensive, attacking Gohan Dark Beast with a series of swift and powerful blows. Gohan responded with ferocity, but Vegeta maintained agile, dodging his attacks while keeping the savage Saiyan warrior's attention. At that moment, Goku concentrated, channeling Ultra Instinct. An aura of flickering energy surrounded him as he activated the powerful transformation. His speed increased exponentially, allowing him to easily dodge Dark Beast Gohan's attacks.
Now, Goku, now's your chance.
Goku in his Ultra Instinct state moved with superhuman speed towards Gohan's rear. The shadow creature, still focused on the fierce confrontation with Vegeta, did not notice Goku's approach. This is my chance to end this! With pinpoint accuracy, Goku reached out his hand and touched the small Shadow Leech on Gohan's neck. The leech, upon being touched by the Ultra Instinct energy, began to fade, emitting a dark screech before dissolving completely. Dark Beast Gohan, losing connection with the Shadow Leech, shook violently, as if releasing himself from a trance. Vegeta, noticing the change, cautiously stepped back as Goku returned to his normal state. What happened?
Kakarot seems to have found a way to free you from that thing.
It was risky, but it worked.
Well done, Goku, but don't let your guard down. This shadow creature might have more tricks up its sleeve.
The immediate threat had been neutralized. The shadow creature, watching from the shadows, moving away unnoticed by the Saiyan warriors, was not about to give up, so the shadow creature set out to return to its master. After the terrifying moment that the Z warriors had experienced, Goku and Vegeta realized that Beerus and Whis were not on Earth. They had disappeared just moments before the shadow creatures appeared on Earth. This is because Daishinkan discovered that Zeno-sama had been killed by his father and immediately summoned all the angels and gods of destruction. In the majestic realm of all, Daishinkan, the high priest, summoned all the angels and gods of destruction of the existing universes. The atmosphere in the hall was unusually tense, and concern was reflected in the faces of those present. Daishinkan, with his usual calmness, prepared to share the disturbing truth he had discovered.
Angels and gods of destruction, the time has come to face a powerful truth. Zeno-sama, our beloved king of all, has been slain.
Silence fell over the hall. The angels and the gods of destruction exchanged looks of disbelief and dismay. No one expected that such a tragedy could occur, especially at the hands of someone so powerful.
My investigation revealed that the one responsible for this abominable act was Zeno-sama's own father.
The news resounded like a somber echo in the room. Everyone present processed the shocking revelation. The omnipresent figure of Zeno-sama, the supreme deity, had been shattered by his own protagonist. Mojito, Sidra's angel, spoke in a worried voice. How is it possible that a being as powerful as Zeno-sama's father could have committed such an act?
That is a question for which I still have no answers. But now we must face the consequences of this event. The stability of the multiverse is in danger.
Arak, the god of destruction of Quitella, asked, "And what measures will we take in the face of this threat? What'll happen to the throne of Zeno-sama?"
That is a question we must discuss and resolve. For now, the throne remains empty, and our duty is to maintain peace and balance. But before we make hasty decisions, we need to fully understand the magnitude of this situation.
Beerus and Whis prepared to inform the gods of destruction and angels of all universes about what they had witnessed while on planet Earth with Goku and Vegeta. The Hall of the Realm of Everything was filled with celestial beings, each one expectant and worried about the news they were about to receive.
Attention everyone! We have crucial information to share about the events that have been unfolded.
Before we are summoned here, the father of Zeno-sama appeared on all the planets of the multiverse. Surprise was reflected on the faces of those present. Murmurs and whispers filled the room, as the gods of destruction and angels exchanged looks of disbelief. His visit was not simply to report the death of Zeno-sama. He announced the holding of the tournament that would determine the survival of the planets in each universe. Additional rumors filled the room, creating a constant buzz of concern. The gods of destruction and angels wanted to understand the implications of such an announcement.
He informed the rules of the tournament and the intentions behind such a competition, but it's necessary that we all work together to get answers and face this threat. It is time to join forces and overcome this crisis. The fate of our universes is at stake.
As the gods and angels absorbed the gravity of the situation, in every corner of the Hall of the Realm of Everything, conversations and plans were brewing to confront the mysterious tournament that threatened to upset the balance of the multiverse. Uncertainty hung in the air, but the determination of the divine beings was determined to face the unknown that lay ahead. In the Hall of Everything, Daishinkan, the High Priest, sensed the imminent arrival of extremely powerful entities heading for the different planets of the multiverse. His face reflected seriousness as he prepared to inform all the angels and gods of destruction present of the coming threat.
Gods and angels of destruction, the time has come to face a new and challenging threat. Entities of great power are headed towards the planets of our universes, and their goal seems to be a direct confrontation with the strongest warriors of each world.
The expressions of those present became serious. Aware of the gravity of the situation, Daishinkan continued with determination.
It's crucial that we move quickly to protect the strongest warriors of each planet, regardless of which universe they belong to. The threat we face does not respect universal boundaries, and we must act with unity to preserve the balance.
Vados, the Angel of Champa, raised his hand.
How do you plan for us to move, Daishinkan? We each have responsibilities in our universes. I understand the complexity of this situation, but the magnitude of this threat requires immediate action. I suggest that every angel and god of destruction move to the planets threatened by this unknown force. We must prevent the strongest warriors from being defeated before we can fully understand our enemies.
Sounds like a sensible plan, Daishinkan. If we all work together, we can protect our warriors and gain more information about these powerful entities. Each angel and god of destruction nodded in agreement, accepting the need to act immediately. They moved quickly to the various planets, casting aside universal barriers in a joint effort to safeguard the multiverse.
May the wisdom and power of each of you guide this effort. Let us not underestimate this new threat. Our duty is to protect the existence of our universes.
With those words, the angels and gods of destruction dispersed, leaving the Hall of All in preparation to face a challenge that transcended universal boundaries and demanded the collaboration of all divine beings. Uncertainty hung in the air, but determination to preserve the balance of the multiverse guided the powerful beings in their joint mission. The angels and gods of destruction quickly teleported to the threatened planets, each determined to protect the strongest warriors on the various planets. In the blink of an eye, the skies lit up with flashes of divine energy as Aamo and Ewin, Cognac and Quintella, Matanu and Geen, Whis and Beerus, and the other angels and gods of destruction headed toward their assigned destinations. The planet Thraxis Nocturne lay peaceful in the corner of the cosmos, its nocturnal luminosity radiating a tranquility that was about to be disturbed. In the vast space, Aamo the angel, with his small book in hand, and his god of destruction Ewin, an imposing figure with a stern gaze, detected the arrival of a shadow creature, a minion of Zeno-sama's father. The creature, shrouded in malevolent darkness, descended with malevolent determination towards Thraxis Nocturne. Ewin, without hesitation, deployed his energy of destruction while Aamo stood by, hoping to resolve the conflict without a bath of chaos.
Creature, your darkness will not be tolerated in this realm. Stop your destructive plans.
The shadow creature emanated a guttural growl. its presence emanating an unnatural energy that distorted the space around it. The space battle began with an explosion of opposing forces. Ewin launched destructive beams, while Aamo used his speed to dodge the attacks and assess the situation.
Ewin, this creature's stronger than we imagined. We must be cautious.
I know, Aamo, but we can't let him destroy Thraxis Nocturne. We must give our best. The shadow creature, agile and evasive, responded to the attacks with dark energy waves that distorted space. The battle spread across the firmament, leaving traces of destructive energy in its wake. Ewin tried to anticipate the creature's movements. However, the shadow creature proved to be agile and adaptive, countering every strategy with an unmatched dark force.
Our conventional methods don't work. Ewin, we need to combine our forces.
I agree, Aamo. It's time to show them the true power of destruction. Aamo and Ewin merged their energies, creating a flash of light that defied the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, perceiving the threat, intensified its own energy, generating a collision of cosmic forces that shook space itself. The battle reached a fever pitch, with cosmic explosions lighting up the scene as Aamo and Ewin struggled to contain the darkness. The struggle took place not only on the physical plane, but also on the spiritual one, where the will to protect Thraxis Nocturne was pitted against the ruthless ambition of the shadow creature. The fusion of Aamo and Ewin unleashed a dazzling energy that eclipsed even the nocturnal luminosity of Thraxis Nocturne. The gold and violet glow enveloped the divine couple as they prepared to face the dark threat looming over the peaceful planet.
It's time to show the true extent of our power, Aamo.
The shadow creature, aware of the growing threat, rushed towards them with supernatural speed. Aamo, with his keen perception, anticipated every movement of the creature, allowing the couple to dodge its onslaughts with heavenly elegance.
Keep calm, Ewin. We must synchronize our movements to counteract their darkness.
Ewin nodded and unleashed a series of destructive energy blasts that lit up the space around him. However, the shadow creature responded with amazing agility, dodging every attack with meandering movements. The battle became a cosmic game of strategy and speed. The angel Aamo and the god of destruction Ewin soon realized that in order to defeat this entity, they would need a coordinated attack that transcended the limits of their individual abilities. In a moment of perfect timing, they unleashed a gale of combined energy. Aamo channeled the energy of destruction while Ewin released violet flashes of destruction.
Focus your energy, Aamo. Let's get rid of this darkness once and for all.
Aamo nodded and joined the attack with determination. The fused energy of both angel and god turned into a spear of golden and violet light that pierced through space with an impressive speed. The shadow creature, caught in the torrent of power, let out a heart-rending howl as it was enveloped by the luminosity. The impact was abysmal, generating an expansive wave that shook the cosmos. The darkness that enveloped the creature began to dissipate, revealing its twisted and weakened form. Aamo and Ewin, exhausted but triumphant, stood on guard ready for any eventuality.
We have managed to contain their darkness, but we can't let our guard down.
The shadow creature, now visibly weakened, recoiled before the imposing presence of Aamo and Ewin. The light had prevailed over the darkness in the cosmic corner of Thraxis Nocturne. The divine couple remained firm in their duty to protect the planet that this creature wanted to destroy. However, the battle was not yet over, and the fates of the planets remained uncertain in the vastness of space. After the shocked combined attack of Aamo and Ewin, the space around Thraxis Nocturne was vibrating with the residual energy of the cosmic battle. The shadow creature, apparently weakened, remained suspended in the cosmic void, enveloped in a dark glow that seemed to absorb the surrounding light. The divine couple watched cautiously, aware that the fate of Thraxis Nocturne was still hung in the cosmic balance.
Ewin, something's not right. The darkness of that creature seems to be getting stronger instead of weaker. It seems that our attack has absorbed by her, but it shouldn't be possible. How can he transform our energy of destruction to his own power?
The shadow creature, now surrounded by a more intense aura, began to change its shape. Its twisted figure became more defined. His eyes shone with a malevolent lucidity. The darkness emanating from her was becoming denser, distorting the space around her.
You have underestimated my true potential, angel and god of destruction. Your energy has strengthened me beyond your comprehension.
The divine couple prepared for what was to come next, aware that the threat they faced had evolved. The shadow creature, now empowered by the absorbed energy, charged towards them with renewed speed and ferocity.
We need to be more cautious, Ewin. It seems that every blow we inflict makes her stronger.
Understood, Aamo, but we can't allow this darkness to devour Thraxis Nocturne. The battle resumed with increased intensity. The shadow creature attacked with bursts of dark energy that cut through space, while Aamo and Ewin responded with flashes of golden and violet light. The cosmic dance of lights and shadows painted an epic picture in the vastness of the universe. Each blow and backlash echoed like thunder in space, distorting reality itself. Aamo, with his keen perception, tried to anticipate the movements of the dark creature, but the dark entity proved to be unpredictable. Ewin, with his energy of destruction, sought to weaken the creature, but his attacks seemed to be absorbed and turned into an additional source of power.
Every time we hit her, her power increases. We can't go on like this.
We must find a way to counteract his ability to absorb our energy. Do you have any ideas, Aamo? Aamo pondered for a moment, his angelic mind working in search of a solution. Meanwhile, the shadow creature, aware of its opponent's confusion, took the opportunity to launch a surprise attack. A wave of dark energy enveloped Aamo and Ewin, distorting their perception and weakening their defenses.
Ha 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 ha! Your resistance is useless. I am the embodiment of darkness. His light cannot prevail before me.
The situation was becoming more and more desperate for the divine couple as they struggled to resist the shadow creature's attacks. Aamo turned his attention to the small book he always carried with him. An idea began to form in his mind.
Ewin, I think I have an idea, but we need to synchronize our attacks in a different way.
Explain yourself, Aamo. Aamo explained his plan to Ewin, who nodded in understanding. Both God and Angel prepared to put their strategy into practice. The shadow creature, confident in its superiority, launched into the attack again, but this time Aamo and Ewin were ready to respond differently.
Now, Ewin, combine your energy of destruction with mine in a more controlled way.
Ewin nodded and channeled his energy to Aamo, who, in turn, merged it with his. Instead of launching a direct attack, they created a sphere of combined light and energy that floated between them.
Do you think this tactic will change the outcome? We'll see.
The energy sphere began to slowly expand, emanating a glowing light that contrasted the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, curious but confident, watched the development with disdain. The fused power is not only destructive, but it also has properties that counteract its absorption capacity. The combined energy sphere, now reaching its maximum expansion, released a wave of light and energy that enveloped the shadow creature. This time, instead of absorbing the power, the darkness that characterized her began to dissipate.
What is this? My power should not be weakened. We create an energy that goes beyond destruction and creation, one that neutralizes the darkness that you're trying to absorb. The shadow creature, weakened by Aamo and Ewin's strategic counterattack, retreated as the combined energy sphere continued to exert its effect. The light emanating from the sphere began to purify the darkness surrounding the entity, revealing its original form before corruption. It seems our tactic's working, but we must make sure we contain it completely. We can't let our guard down. Let's continue with the strategy until the creature's completely neutralized.
The space battle continued, but this time Aamo and Ewin had the upper hand. His sphere of combined energy continued to exert its purifying effect, dispelling the darkness that threatened Thraxis Nocturne. With each passing moment, the shadow creature grew weaker. The light of hope began to shine in the corner of the cosmos that was once on the verge of destruction. The shadow creature, weakened by Aamo and Ewin's strategy, retreated into space, its distorted form twisting as the combined energy sphere continued to purify the darkness that enveloped it. In a desperate attempt to regain his strength, the shadow creature began to explore its surroundings, looking for an opportunity to turn the situation in his favor.
My power is weakened here. I need to find a place where darkness prevails.
While exploring, the shadow creature noticed something that favored him. His eyes flashed with malevolent anticipation as he discovered that this world was called Thraxis Nocturne because it was a planet plunged into shadows. The dark entity smiled malevolently as he realized that this planet could provide the darkness needed to revitalize his power.
Ha 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 ha! Thraxis Nocturne, a feast of darkness awaits me!
With amazing speed, the shadow creature launched itself towards the planet, traversing space with great speed. Aamo and Ewin, aware of his intentions, followed closely, determined to stop any attempt by the shadow creature to plunge into the darkness of the planet. As the creature approached Thraxis Nocturne, the darkness of the planet seemed to intensify, as if responding to its presence. The planet's nighttime atmosphere shone with a faint luminosity, offering a fascinating contrast to the surrounding stars.
Ewin, we must prevent the creature from being filled with dark power. If she succeeds, it'll be even more difficult to stop her. Understood, Aamo. We'll not allow the darkness of this planet to fall into the hands of that entity.
The shadow creature descended on Thraxis Nocturne with a terrifying impetus. As she approached, the darkness seemed to take her in, enveloping her with a gloomy welcome. The shadow creature began to absorb the darkness of the planet, its twisted form vibrating with a new energy as it filled with the essence of Thraxis Nocturne.
Ha 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 ha! Yes, this darkness will strengthen me. Nothing can stop me now.
Aamo and Ewin, wasting no time, headed towards the shadow creature, determined to stop its advance before it became unstoppable. The battle in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne was about to take a very drastic turn.
We cannot allow this darkness to completely corrupt this creature. We must stop her before she becomes invincible. Your previous strategy was effective, Aamo. Let's keep working together to counter his power.
Deep in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne, the intense presence of the absorbing shadow creature did not go unnoticed by the most powerful warriors on the planet. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and his brother Cooler felt the darkness increasing around them and, with a mixture of amazement and concern, headed toward the epicenter of the threat.
Something's not right. The darkness in this place is getting denser.
Whatever it is, we cannot let it threaten Thraxis Nocturne. Let's investigate.
The warriors moved nimbly across the gloomy terrain, advancing towards the source of the darkness. As they got closer, the atmosphere became heavier, as if the shadow itself wanted to resist their advance.
The darkness is different. I feel a strange pressure. I'm not afraid of the dark, but this is unusual. Cooler, stay alert.
Understood, Frieza. Let's find out what's going on.
Suddenly, a wave of dark energy erupted before them, revealing the shadow creature that was absorbing the darkness of the planet. His twisted figure and malevolent aura were as evident as the threat he posed to Thraxis Nocturne.
Warriors of this planet, his darkness feeds me. Soon I will be unstoppable.
We won't let you destroy Thraxis Nocturne. Get ready, creature.
The warriors went on the attack, each unleashing their unique power against the dark entity. Turles unleashed his evil aura, releasing bursts of destructive energy. Bardock channeled his Saiyan fury into powerful blows, while Raditz and Cooler coordinated their attacks to create a symphony of destruction. Frieza intensifying the struggle.
This creature doesn't know who he's up against.
Your resistance is useless. Each blow only increases my power.
The shadow creature, powered by the darkness of Thraxis Nocturne, absorbed attacks with defiant ease. Each impact seemed to strengthen rather than weaken it, plunging the warriors into the disturbing reality that they were facing an enemy that fed on its own darkness.
It's not working. He's getting stronger and stronger.
We need to change our strategy. We can't let it absorb all the darkness on the planet.
While the warriors struggled to find an effective strategy, the shadow creature, with its distorted laughter, continued to absorb the darkness, becoming more and more powerful. The Battle of Thraxis Nocturne's survival was at its most critical, and the warriors knew that they had to find a solution before the dark entity became invincible. The dark aura released by the shadow creature enveloped the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, gradually weakening them. The warriors struggled to stay on their feet as the entity's malevolent energy infiltrated their bodies, obscuring their vital forces.
This is it. Too much.
I can't let that defeat us like this.
The warriors, despite their bravery, were overcome by the darkness emanating from the aura of the shadow creature. At that critical moment, when hope seemed to be fading, a heavenly light pierced the shadows. Aamo and Ewin, the angels charged with protecting Thraxis Nocturne, arrived on the battlefield. The darkness emanating from this creature is breathtaking. We cannot allow it to take over this planet. Time to show these warriors how to fight true darkness. The angel spread his wings, and together with the god of destruction, they advanced towards the shadow creature, his presence radiating a luminosity that defied the malevolent nature of the dark aura. As it approached, the dark entities sensed the arrival of divine beings and turned to face the new threat.
More insignificant beings. His light will be devoured by my darkness. Don't underestimate the power of light. Darkness cannot resist the true essence of creation.
Aamo extended his hand, and a purifying light enveloped the battlefield, counteracting the dark effect of the creature's aura. Ewin, on the other hand, deployed the energy of destruction, creating a perfect balance between light and darkness. The shadow creature, for the first time, felt the pressure of forces that it could not easily absorb or resist. The conflict took a turn, and the battle became more intense as the angel and god of destruction faced the dark entity with the unique combination of light and destruction.
The real struggle starts now. We'll protect Thraxis Nocturne from the darkness you represent.
The fight between the angels and the shadow creature reached impressive levels, with bursts of energy illuminating the dark planet of Thraxis Nocturne. Meanwhile, the warriors, freed from the debilitating effects of the dark aura, watched the fight, hoping that their planet would not be destroyed. In the dark skies of Thraxis Nocturne, the stage was transformed into a cosmic battlefield, where divine light and malevolent darkness collided in an epic confrontation. Aamo and Ewin, the guardians of this planet, displayed their celestial power with a grace and precision that defied description. The glow of the purifying light emanating from Ewin and Aamo spread across the space, illuminating the shadows that the shadow creature was trying to grasp. Ewin and Awamo's every move was a ballet of divine energy, as they gracefully dodged the dark attacks encountered with unstoppable force. Awamo's wings shone with a resplendent light, like stars in the night, as he invoked the very essence of creation to repel the dark forces rising up against him. By his side, Ewin radiated an imposing presence, with his penetrating gaze fixed on the creature as it defying the darkness itself. The shadow creature, on the other hand, was fighting with an impressive ferocity, trying to resist the overwhelming power of Ewin and Aamo. Their dark attacks were launched like ravenous shadows, seeking to consume the divine light that surrounded them. However, every attack was countered by the impenetrable force of Ewin and Aamo, who remained firm in their purpose to protect the planet. The clash between light and darkness created a symphony of cosmic energy, with flashes of light and bursts of energy illuminating the firmament. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Your power is formidable, but it cannot resist the purity of creation.
You can't stop me. I'm the very embodiment of darkness.
Darkness can be powerful, but the real strength lies in balance, and we represent that balance. Ewin and Aamo continued to deploy their energy with amazing precision, creating light barriers that repelled the attacks of the shadow creature. Every movement of Ewin and Aamo was imbued with a divine elegance and grace, while the creature struggled with a desperate ferocity. Our mission is to protect the harmony of the universe, and that includes protecting this planet from your darkness.
You can't stop me. I'm inevitable.
The shadow creature launched waves of dark energy, but Ewin and Aamo easily repelled them, maintaining an opposing presence in the midst of battle. Every blow of Ewin and Aamo resonated with the force of creation, while the creature struggled more and more desperately. The darkness can be a challenge, but our determination's unwavering. We'll not let you destroy this planet. Your power may be formidable, but it cannot equal the eternal light of the universe. The battle continued with Ewin and Aamo and the shadow creature facing off in an epic clash between light and dark. In the midst of the struggle, Father Zeno silently watched from his kingdom, perceived the magnitude of the conflict. With an imperceptible gesture, he decided to intervene, taking Ewin and Aamo to a mental plane where they could confront the shadow creature in a terrain beyond the physical. In a flash of dazzling light, Aamo and Ewin were transported to an ethereal realm, where the laws of the universe twisted and blurred.
Where are we, Ewin?
We have entered the realm of the mind, a place where reality is molded according to the will of the observer. Here the real battle be fought in the deepest corners of our being.
While Aamo and Ewin were transported to a mental plane by Father Zeno, the shadow creature continued its fierce assault against the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and Cooler, the most powerful warriors on the planet, rose up against the darkness that threatened to consume their home. The shadow creature, imbued with a dark and malevolent aura, hovered over them with an overwhelming presence. He distorted his energy, enveloping everything around him, tearing reality itself apart, and threatening to plunge the planet into an abyss of chaos.
We won't let you destroy our home, shadow monster.
We, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, are not afraid of the dark.
We have faced much greater dangers than you, creature.
We will fight together to protect our world.
The shadow creature launched a powerful dark attack towards the warriors, but they responded with relentless ferocity. Turles, his eyes shining with determination, unleashed a shower of destructive energy, summoning the very essence of nature to channel it in a torrent of energetic attacks. Their powerful attacks cut through the darkness with devastating precision, creating dazzling explosions that lit up the planet's night sky. Bardock, with his fiery ki and indomitable spirit, channeled his energy into a powerful attack. His fists were burning with a searing intensity as he launched a concentrated burst of energy towards the shadow creature, challenging its strength with its own. Bardock's attack resonated with the determination of an invincible warrior, willing to give everything for the protection of his world. Raditz and Cooler, united in battle, joined in a coordinated assault on the shadow creature. With fluid and coordinated movements, they launched bursts of energy from different angles, creating a barrier of attacks that surrounded their enemy. The shadow creature struggled to defend itself against the combined onslaught of the two powerful warriors, but its resistance was challenged by the determination and skill of Raditz and Cooler. Meanwhile, Frieza, with his golden form glowing with a golden aura, was preparing to unleash his full power against the shadow creature. His eyes shone with a cold and calculated determination as he focused his energy on a devastating attack. With a graceful and precise movement, Frieza unleashed a burst of golden energy that swirled with unparalleled destructive power, threatening to envelop the shadow creature in a mantle of fire and destruction. The battle escalated as the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne bravely faced the darkness that threatened their world. Every blow, every burst of energy echoed through space, creating a spectacle of destruction and determination. Meanwhile, on the mental plane, Aamo and Ewin were engaged in a metaphysical struggle against Father Zeno, an omnipotent entity whose presence radiated an aura of indescribable power. Ewin and Aamo, aware of the gravity of the situation, desperately sought the intervention of Father Zeno to counter the threat of the shadow creature. However, to their surprise, Father Zeno solemnly informed them that they could not intervene directly, since the balance of the universe had to be kept intact even in times of crisis. Aamo and Ewin, although unhappy with Father Zeno's decision, understood the importance of respecting the laws of the cosmos. With determination, they plunged even deeper into the metaphysical struggle, using all their ingenuity and power to find a solution to the crisis unfolding in Thraxis Nocturne. As a confrontation on the mental plane reached its climax, Aamo and Ewin found themselves face to face with the imposing Father Zeno. His figure radiated an indisputable authority, but also an aura of mystery that aroused restlessness in the Ewin and Aamo. Aamo, with his usual serenity, broke the tense silence that filled the ethereal space. "Father Zeno," he began in a firm but respectful tone, "could it be you that... Were you the one who sent the shadow creatures to destroy the planets?" Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, nodded slowly.
"I did it for the good of the universe,"
he replied calmly. Although his voice resonated with a power that shook Ewin and Aamo, sometimes drastic measures must be taken to preserve the cosmic balance. Ewin, with a flash of indignation in his eyes, could not contain himself anymore. "But that doesn't justify the chaos and destruction you've unleashed!" he exclaimed, his voice echoing with unshakable determination. "There are other ways to restore balance without resorting to violence and darkness." Father Zeno observed the god of destruction and his angel with a penetrating gaze, as if he were evaluating their words and their posture. "Your compassion is admirable, but sometimes it's necessary to sacrifice a few pieces to save the entire board," he said in an enigmatic tone. Aamo and Ewin exchanged determined glances. Although they respected Father Zeno's authority, they knew that they had to follow their own principles and convictions. With courage, they prepared to challenge the omnipotent being in front of them, willing to fight for what they believed was right, even if it meant facing the divinity itself. The air on the mental plane was charged with tension, as Aamo and Ewin prepared to face Father Zeno. Their divine auras collided in a show of titanic forces, as Ewin and Aamo prepared to challenge the supreme being in front of them. Aamo, with his heavenly book in hand, looked at Father Zeno with determination. "Father Zeno, although we respect your authority, we cannot allow you to continue with this destruction," he stated firmly. "We'll fight for peace and balance in the universe, even if it means standing up to you." Father Zeno, with an impenetrable calm, nodded in recognition. "Your courage is admirable, but you will not be able to stop me," he replied calmly. "The fate of the universe is in my hands, and I'll do whatever it takes to preserve its balance." Without further words, the battle began with a burst of divine energy. Aamo unleashed his celestial power, summoning rays of light that he threw against Father Zeno, while Ewin threw waves of energy with determination. However, Father Zeno showed impressive resilience, deflecting every attack with surprising ease. The fight went on for what seemed like an eternity, with Ewin and Aamo and Father Zeno trading punches and counterpunches in a cosmic dance of power and skill. Every movement was imbued with a supernatural force, while the mental plane trembled under the intensity of his conflict. However, as time passed, Aamo and Ewin began to feel the weight of their opponent. Father Zeno's power was overwhelming, and every blow Ewin and Aamo received weakened them even more. Despite their bravery and determination, it seemed that they were fighting against an impossible-to-defeat force. Aamo, panting from the effort, looked at his companion with concern. "Ewin, we can't go on like this," he admitted sincerely. "Father Zeno's too powerful for us." Ewin, though exhausted, nodded determinedly. "I know, Aamo, but we can't give up," he replied firmly. "We must keep fighting, for Thraxis Nocturne, and for all beings in the universe." With a final effort, Ewin and Aamo gathered their forces to launch a final attack against Father Zeno. However, the Supreme Being easily overcame them, deflecting his power with a contemptuous gesture. Father Zeno looked at Ewin and Aamo with a mixture of admiration and regret.
"They're brave, but their struggle has come to an end," he solemnly declared. "Accept your defeat and let fate take its course."
With a resigned sigh, Aamo and Ewin surrendered to Father Zeno's overwhelming strength. Although they had fought with all their heart and soul, they knew that they could not defeat the Supreme Being in front of them. Father Zeno, with a compassionate look, looked at them benevolently.
"Rest now, my brave creations,"
he said gently.
"His bravery will be remembered throughout the universe."
Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, extended his hand towards the exhausted Ewin and Aamo. In an instant, a powerful burst of cosmic energy emanated from his palm, enveloping Aamo and Ewin in a dazzling radiance. Ewin and Aamo screamed in agony as Father Zeno's energy enveloped them, feeling every fiber of their being torn apart under the relentless power of the Supreme Being. Their bodies, imbued with divine light, were slowly consumed in the maelstrom of energy, fading little by little into the ether of the cosmos. Aamo and Ewin fought with all their might to resist the cataclysm that engulfed them, but it was useless. The power of Father Zeno surpassed them in every respect, and they were soon reduced to mere shadows of their former glory. With the last gasp, Aamo and Ewin exploded, leaving body parts all over the mental space, dissipating into cosmic nothingness while their essence merged with the universe. At that precise moment, we return to the earthly plane, where the fierce battle between the most powerful warriors of Thraxis Nocturne and the shadow creature was reaching its climax. Bursts of energy and thunderous crashes echoed in the air, while Bardock, in the middle of the combat, glimpsed Aamo and Ewin, who were lying unconscious on the ground, enveloped in a halo of divine light. Surprise and dismay were reflected on the faces of the warriors, who momentarily stopped their frantic struggle upon realizing the situation. Bardock, his eyes wide open, watched in horror as Ewin and Awamo's bodies began to shake, emanating flashes of energy that increased in intensity with each passing second. A tense silence enveloped the battlefield as everyone watched the scene in disbelief. Suddenly, a heart-rending explosion echoed in the air, making the earth and sky tremble. Bardock and the other warriors were thrown back by the force of the explosion, protecting themselves as best as they could from the shockwave that was spreading around them. When the afterglow of the explosion faded, what was left was a smoking crater where Aamo and Ewin once stood. The warriors slowly stood up, stunned by what they had just witnessed, as the shadow creature, now shrouded in an even denser darkness, prepared to lash out again before the protecting warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Bardock clenched his fist determinedly, feeling a mixture of sadness and fury burn inside him. He knew that they must continue the fight, not only for the honor of their planet, but also in memory of the brave fallen guardians. With a war cry, the warriors rushed into combat again, determined to avenge the loss of their comrades and protect their home from the darkness that threatened to consume it. After the devastating explosion that killed Aamo and Ewin, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne gathered in a circle, still stunned by what had happened. Bardock, with a gloomy look, broke the silence with a grave tone.
Damn it! What the hell just happened?
Turles, frowning, shook his head in disbelief.
I don't know, but we can't let this sacrifice be in vain. We need to get this thing over with once and for all.
Raditz, with his fist clenched, furiously nodded determinedly.
You're right! Aamo and Ewin gave their lives to protect this planet. We cannot disappoint his sacrifice.
Frieza, with his usual impassive expression, spoke in a cold and calculated tone.
The death of Ewin and Aamo should not be in vain. We must unite and concentrate our efforts on defeating that shadow creature.
Cooler, with a serious look, added determinedly,
We are facing an unprecedented threat, but if we fight together, we can overcome it. Let's do it for the honor of Thraxis Nocturne, for the legacy of our brave comrades.
Bardock nodded solemnly, his jaw tense with determination.
So, are we in agreement? We'll fight together until the end and avenge our fallen.
The warriors nodded in agreement, sharing a look of determination and unity. With their hearts filled with determination, they prepared to face once again the darkness that threatened their home. As the warriors prepared to face the shadow creature again, a fierce determination burned in their hearts. Turles, feeling the energy of the battle, was the first to unleash his power.
It's time to show them our true power!
With a powerful scream, Turles wrapped himself in an aura of energy. Her dark hair turned golden and her eyes shone with a dazzling intensity. The energy of the Super Saiyan emanated from his being, infusing strength and determination into his entire being. Raditz, inspired by Turtle's example, followed suit.
It's my turn!
With a burst of energy, Raditz's dark hair bristled, turning golden just like his brother's. His ki increased dramatically, emanating a commanding presence that filled the battlefield. Seeing the transformation of his comrades, Bardock also joined the fray.
I can't stay behind!
With a battle cry, Bardock unleashed all his power. His fiery aura enveloped him in a higher golden glow. His energy increased to astronomical levels, propelling him towards a higher form of his race. Frieza, observing the transformation of the Saiyans, did not want to be left behind.
The time has come to show my true strength.
With a burst of energy, Frieza transformed into his golden form of maximum power similar to 100% full power. His body radiating a golden glow. His power multiplied several times, turning him into an unstoppable force that rivaled the sunlight itself. Cooler, feeling the energy surrounding him, decided to join the fight with all his might.
It's time to unleash my true potential.
With a flash of energy, Cooler transformed into his metallic form, his body glowing with a metallic luster. His stamina and power increased exponentially, making him an invincible force that would defy even the gods. With their transformations complete, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne once again faced the shadow creature with renewed determination and a power that eclipsed any darkness. In the skies of Thraxis Nocturne, the battle continued as the transformed warriors faced off against the shadow creature, a being whose dark power threatened to devour everything in its path. With each of the warriors unleashing their full potential, The cosmos trembled under the force of their epic showdown. The golden aura of Turles, Raditz, and Bardock, combined with the imposing presence of Frieza and Cooler in their transformed forms, formed a dazzling spectacle in the night sky. Energy flickered around them, lighting up the darkness with golden and silver flashes as they prepared for the final showdown. The shadow creature, sensing his power of his adversaries, emanated a rumbling roar that echoed through the planet. His dark form seemed to twist and distort as he prepared for the final assault.
It's time to end this once and for all!
With a battle cry, Turles lunged forward. His speed increased by his Super Saiyan form. The shadow creature responded with an onslaught of dark energy, but Turles nimbly dodged it, moving with astonishing speed across the battlefield. Raditz and Bardock followed Turles' lead, attacking with relentless ferocity. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature's attacks were swift and fierce, but the Saiyans deftly dodged them, responding with even more powerful blows.
Father, let's keep the pressure on this thing. We can't let it destroy our home.
I know. We're not going to allow this monster to destroy Thraxis Nocturne. Our power is more than enough to end it.
That's right. You taught us to fight with courage and determination. We'll not back down before this creature is destroyed.
Take this!
The shadow creature dodged Bardock's attack with agility, launching its counterattack with its sharp claws.
Careful, Father.
Don't worry about me. I'm more than ready for this.
And take this too.
Raditz's attacks hit the shadow creature hard, but it quickly recovered and counterattacked with a surge of dark energy.
Damn, this thing's tougher than I thought.
We can't give up now. Our planet depends on us.
You're right. Let's show you what we're capable of.
The two Saiyans launched into the air attack once more with renewed determination. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature, although resistant, was overcome by the ferocity of the Saiyans. Turles, with his golden hair flowing behind him, launched a quick series of precise punches, each one carrying with it the power of his transformation into Super Saiyan. His movements were fluid and graceful, as if he were dancing around his enemy, dodging every attack with impressive agility.
There's no escape for you, monster! Your darkness can't compete with the power of the Super Saiyan!
With a battle cry, Turles lashed out at the shadow creature, striking with overwhelming force. Every blow resounded in the air, shaking the battlefield with its power. The shadow creature was fighting desperately, but its attacks seemed weak compared to Turles' ferocity. Meanwhile, Raditz and Bardock were continuing their assault on the shadow creature. Their attacks were coordinated and precise, each complementing the other in a deadly dance of destruction. The shadow creature found itself increasingly cornered, unable to cope with the combined might of the Saiyans.
Come on, Father. We know we can stop this thing.
I know, Raditz. Let's keep pushing until there's nothing left of this creature.
With renewed determination, the two Saiyans redoubled their efforts, launching a series of devastating attacks against the shadow creature. Each blow echoed in the air, carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. Frieza and Cooler were watching the battle intently from a distance, their cold gazes evaluating every move of the Saiyans and the shadow creature. As the fight intensified, they noticed with increasing concern how the shadow creature began to gain more strength, releasing a dark energy that threatened to destabilize this situation.
It seems that the things are getting more complicated than I expected.
Yes, the shadow creature seems to be gaining ground.
If we don't intervene soon, we could face an even more dangerous situation.
With a cold determination, Frieza and Cooler exchanged a glance before heading towards the battlefield. His presence made itself felt immediately. His overbearing aura flooded the area as they prepared to face the shadow creature.
Looks like we need to intervene before things get out of control.
I agree. We cannot allow this shadow creature to wreak more havoc on our planet.
With surprising speed, Frieza and Cooler launched into action, deploying all the power in an effort to contain the shadow creature. His attacks were precise and devastating, each blow carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home. However, the shadow creature was not going to be easily defeated. With a thunderous scream, he split into 4 separate beings, each one darker and more malevolent than the last. The earth trembled under their weight as they advanced towards the warriors, ready to unleash their fury on them.
It seems that this creature has more tricks up its sleeve than we thought.
It doesn't matter. We have our own tricks.
Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.